excellent game. Like I said, that was what we was expecting. It was going to be end-to-end stuff from both teams, both experienced clubs from the stuff that we'd seen yesterday and for the performances they've been put in throughout the weekend. So probably I think a fair result there, Brad, in terms of there was not one standout scene. They were both very good technically. A lot of good set plays and set movements. A very good fair result, I think, in the light of everything that's gone on.
So there we go, our first draw of the day. Donnybrook and Six-Pack Roosters finishing at 5 apiece. And now we'll move our attention to the bowl competition, and we're going to see Triple X Amsterdam taking on Touch Barcelona. That will be coming up next, live here on the England Touch Rugby YouTube channel and BBC Sport Align. This is the European Touch Club Championships 2019.
Just as you blink, the teams are changing and the action continues. 3 minutes between games here at Maidenhead until we get through to the finals. And in the bowl competition, it's Amsterdam playing from left to right in the red and black, and they're up against Touch Barcelona in the blue and black. And it's Barcelona who are on the first attack, and going over the line, Doug Maltby. Born in Lincoln, started playing at the University of Surrey, and is now a regular face in the Barcelona midfield. He just got touched on the way through, and it's a turnover on the sixth touch as Amsterdam hold out and start to come up through the middle. Good driving there from the Dutch team. Getting the ball into the middle. Up comes Eric Bernard. Ball goes wide. Out to Baspu. Best Pow. Tall man, but with the nickname Little Pow Wow. So well over 6 foot. As the teams start sizing each other up. Barcelona bring some fresh players on, start going into the middle of the park. Crossing the whitewashers, Daniel Iglesias. And joined by Stephen Troy from Donnybrook, fresh off their 5-5 draw with the Six-Pack Roosters. A fantastic game to watch. How was it to play in?
Incredibly hard. The Six-Pack guys they're strong, they're fast, they're physical. Yeah, I feel like we both got a mutual outcome there. It was a really good game.
How much were you watching them yesterday, especially in the second half of the day, when you know that when you are starting to preempt today's cup round robin?
Yeah, we went home and watched their game last night. We have so much respect for everyone we're playing for today. And the Six-Pack guys in particular, Ross Taylor leading the charge. We know exactly what he's like. They've been over to Dublin. So yeah, as much as we can watch, we will.
It's one of these things that we're seeing, obviously, not just in the cup, but also lower down. This is a bowl game, but it's going to be very, potentially as good a game between two very evenly matched teams.
Yeah, 100%. I actually have been over to Amsterdam a good few times. I know the guys well. Andy there, who is with the white cap and the Aussie, he's a very strong player. He's coached them well, and yeah, I expect him to do really well here.
And Amsterdam starting to come up the middle, putting some pace into their driving. It's Baspau over on this left side. Really works his way across and into the sub-box, gets some fresh legs on. You can see how hard they're working. The Dutch team. Mariette Bonkers. More of a sevens player than her history, but obviously playing touch today. And Daniel Guinness gets the ball wide, but that's a touch just on the far corner. But you can see what Amsterdam are trying to do.
Yeah, 100%. That is strong defense by the Spanish team here.
It's a loss of control there, though, from Barcelona's Nicolas Adriozola. Hopefully getting these pronunciations right. Apologies if I haven't got that right if you're watching over in Spain, or if you're Spanish and watching here in the UK.
Here comes a fresh 6, quickly in the middle. Oh, lovely step back.
Is this the kind of thing now that's where the difference between the experienced teams and the slightly less experienced teams starts to come to the fore in situations like this?
I think the biggest difference between experienced and just slightly below that is static play. So if you watch any of the cup finals, there's going to be no real static plays unless you get a fresh 6. Everybody is launching into it at full pace and straight from the box. The only way you're going to win at this level is if you grind the other team down and exhaust them. So that would be the big difference.
Barcelona defence held firm. And all of a sudden they need to get some fresh players onto the park. You can see that there was maybe a little bit of miscommunication there from the sub-box, and the driving not going past into the area where players could come onto the park. And that's all just broken down for Barcelona. You could kind of see that coming.
Yeah, that just comes down to communication, Chris. You can see there when he got the ball, he ran across field. This allows the Amsterdam defence to get pre-touch, prepare, and to run up hard.
And now Amsterdam start to build in the Barcelona half. Anthony Smith.
Lovely dump there.
Gets the ball back off the floor.
That's half. Oh, unlucky.
Yeah, good honesty there from Smith, who represented Netherlands at the World Cup in Malaysia earlier this year. It's slightly warmer, but it's pretty muggy here in the Thames Valley this morning, as it has been all weekend. But it's about 15 degrees cooler than it was in Putrajaya. Bit of a heavy touch, as you could see, but there's a little bit of milking it maybe from Barcelona's Miriam Pascual. Bit of a veteran, 5 years of the sport underneath the belt. And Barcelona don't win a penalty and instead turn the ball over 10 metres inside the Amsterdam half. So it's very, very even between these two games. The skill, may not be as, the skill level might just be a little bit down on what we saw in your game against Six-Pack Roosters, but as I said, these are the games when it becomes increasingly intriguing.
Yeah, and what I'm noticing is both teams are winning. The defence is winning the ruck ball. You don't see the attack usually getting behind the defence, and that's massive. If you're not doing that, you're giving complete advantage to the defence there.
So what should the attacking teams be doing to offset that?
What they need to do is run hard, but get to the side of the defender and get the ball behind them. If you're doing that, you're putting them on the back foot the whole time. They won't get pre-touch.
That's the voice of Stephen Troy. As with an accent like that, he could only be from Donnybrook.
That's it, Irish here, true and true.
As Barcelona, like a lot of these European teams, has a mixture of homegrown players, but also a lot of expats as well. Here comes Nicolas Odriozola.
That's a very good step by Barcelona. Very, very good.
Who's originally from Chile, and plenty of spice about that attack there from Barcelona, just couldn't finish it off. And Amsterdam come forward again. It's definitely going to be one of those games already where it looks like a score either side of half-time is going to be absolutely crucial.
100%. Chris, I think the main thing here is just get your sixes. We're seeing a lot of drop balls and not a completed 6. If you can just run that time and time again, you're going to break the defence down, and that will be the main objective here.
First touch for Barcelona, fantastic position. Here comes the Chilean on his way through. There's going to be, what's the call from referee Dom Shaw? from Northampton, having not too sure how his Spanish is. But as a good front row forward, he's definitely got the gift of the gab. There in the middle. And regardless, Barcelona now, bit of a static play you were talking about before, start to put some pace into it now.
Yes.
Daniel Iglesias took the touch, but just whatever they were talking about, unfortunately just couldn't finish it off. And Amsterdam can put some pace on. Annabelle Dekkers-McTackett.
See there, Chris, the defence is getting in front every single time. That's the one thing you have to get around the defender. There we go. Brilliant. Oh, that's it. That's a beautiful strike done.
And just unfortunately that play comes to an end. Lindsay Schrader's pass just hitting the deck there. But somebody out there in their sub box must be listening to you, Stephen.
I hope so. They're starting to pick their game up, Amsterdam. I feel like they could get a score now the way they're playing.
Here come Barcelona into the Amsterdam half. Daniel Iglesias again.
This is a really good 6, really good.
Weaving his way towards the line is James Venner, one of the English expats playing for Barcelona. Just having a quick look down their teams. They've obviously got a couple of English players in, a couple of Chileans, and a Pat Scott, sorry, number 27, played touch the first time in Singapore at the age of 11. And so we're starting to see Southeast Asia become a real hotbed for the sport. Is that, we're starting to see players from Singapore coming to English universities. You start to see the influx into Ireland as well?
Yeah, no, I'll give a shout out to one of the girls back home, Ash Gill. She's probably the best defensive player we have in Ireland when it comes to mixed, and she's from Singapore, and her 2 sisters came over there, played in a recent competition, they just lit it up. So yeah, the expats are something that we're seeing a lot of, and they're doing great.
To lift everybody else's standards as well.
100%. So they've been playing since they were kids. A lot of us, especially in Donnybrook, we've converted. We're rugby players, we're GA players, Irish football. So yeah, we've converted. So we have these expats coming in, giving us advice, showing us small things, and it's making a huge difference.
And that's a rarity we've seen so far this weekend. That's a forced sub for Amsterdam's number 5, Anthony Smith. It's made the heavy touch on the Barcelona player and is sent to the sin bin. And just as a quick, this is the first time we've seen that, and you get sent to the sin bin for as long as the referee wants. There's absolutely no prescribed time. So it'll be up to Dom Shaw in terms of how long he wants the player to stay there. And in the meantime, just going to be cooling his heels. But in the meantime, his Amsterdam teammates have held out well and are now starting to build into the deep into the Barcelona half. A couple more touches to play with. Eric Besnard just overruns the placement a little bit, and Andrew McTackett.
And he's very calm here. He knows exactly what he wants.
Apparently he wants through a long ball against New Zealand to go 1-0 up in the World Cup, and there is witnesses and TV coverage that can indeed confirm that.
Well, he is Aussie. Do you not expect that?
Just in terms of the World Cup, obviously this is the first time the World Cup's been live streamed as extensively as it was. Does this give you guys a good points of reference in terms of how you're developing going forward?
100%. So I was over with the Irish Mixed Open, and a lot of our players played Men's Open, and the experience we got from that World Cup, especially from the guys watching at home, we picked up a huge amount. We work alongside Aussie coaches now. The whole point is just to develop Irish touch as much as possible.
We'll have more of that kind of chat with Stephen Troy from Donnybrook in the second half. 0-0. Quite literally nothing to separate these two teams, both in terms of their approach or on the scoreboard. We'll be back with the second half in a couple of minutes' time. Don't go anywhere.
A touchdown is the only way to score points in touch. A touchdown happens when the ball is grounded with downward pressure on or over the whitewash. The ball can be touched down but needs to be under control, and there needs to be downward pressure. A touchdown is worth 1 point. As there are no conversions in touch, you can score anywhere along the line, and as long as there is downward pressure and it is under control.
Second half coming up between Amsterdam, who are on the far side in their red and black. Can't mistake the triple X as well in the middle. And touch Barcelona. And Amsterdam are going to be starting, playing from right to left as we look. 12-minute halves, 3-minute half times until we get, and it's all round robin today, until we get through to the final. And at final stages, at which point drop-offs could come into play. How much, Stephen Troy from Donnybrook, how much do you guys start talking about that as far as, you know, when this, as the leagues are unfolding during the course of the day? Are you starting to plan for a potential longer game in the final, or is it just a case of, look, we've been here 2 days, we've gone flat out, let's just go flat out?
Yeah, there's nothing between the teams, so it's definitely going to be close. It's going to be one score max. So I do expect to see a lot of drop-offs today, and in terms of the teams, everyone has prepared for this. Everyone knows it's the biggest club in Championship in Europe, so we're ready for a drop-off.
Just to go back to the chat we were having in the first half about the World Cup and you know, what you guys in Ireland have taken from it and continue to use those resources and what have you. Based on how well everybody did in the World Cup, you know, across Europe and across France, obviously, you know, the Scots mixed open won bronze, the French men's 30s won bronze, beating England with the 2 plays in the last minute. It was agonising to be there from an England perspective. You know, the guys gave everything, especially after the way they lost to South Africa in the semi-final in a drop-off as well, and it was an agonising couple of hours, as I say. But you know, given how well these teams have come back and competed at the World Cup, you're expecting next year's European Championships in Nottingham to be a marked step up from last year?
100%. The standard in European touch has gone through the roof. England are the flag bearers. They have really stepped their game up. Their men's open are incredible. Their mixed open are developing incredibly well. Then you have the Scottish mixed open, who are just in a league of their own. So yeah, I expect everyone. I know Wales mixed open are really gunning for it this year. Our men's open, our big focus is to go all out this European Championships. So yeah, expect a lot going on this year.
Great footwork there from the Barcelona number 4, Marta Berenui. Just tiptoeing our way up the inside of the touchline. And it keeps Barcelona on the front foot. You were talking in the first half about looking to get on the side of the defenders as opposed to letting the defenders dominate the play. Have you seen much of that already in the second half in terms of a slight approach in terms of how the teams are attacking?
Amsterdam are definitely winning the ruck ball, and that's why I think they're going to eventually come out with a score here to win the game. Barcelona, you can see they're a bit tired, so see there, the lazy touches come to the side going around the ruck. You just can't have that at this level. So Amsterdam are really stepping their game up when it comes to ruck ball. Watch, here we go, in between 2. Pity.
It's going to be an interesting call for this one. That's a penalty for interfering with the ball. So Andrew McTaggart off the naughty step for the start of the second half. Don't think we've seen a sin binning so far over the course of the weekend. So
that's unusual. We have a player, John Ennis, who usually gets a sin bin, so I don't know how he's managed to stay on the field. And me a bit, okay.
Amsterdam get close to the Barcelona line and then unfortunately just hits the deck. Maceo Tatano, been playing for the Netherlands for 9 years and one of the oldest players and most experienced players in this Amsterdam setup. And here comes Barcelona. Gaiason Osorio took the ball forward and it goes into that half of the field. Doug Maltby, developed his game at the University of Surrey, playing in the University Touch Series. And there's going to be a bit of chat here about whether there was a touch in midfield in the run-up.
He's given a penalty.
There's going to be plenty of chat on the field.
That was a very strong 6 by Barcelona here. Nice 32. Bang. Great line by the 10. He's gone through. Yeah, I think that's a score.
I don't think they've given it, though. I think they've given the touch. There was a long chat from the on-field referee with Dom Shaw on the far side, or sorry, the near side, as the camera looks. Sorry, just happened just a little bit out of shot, and that was a 6th touch and a turnover. So Amsterdam looking for the space to make the defence and to make the defender play. Lovely pass to Maceo Tatano from Arco Hundert. This is only his 2nd official touch tournament. He looks to have settled in nicely. Andrew McTaggart gets the ball off the deck, points where he wants it to go. He's the half again.
I can see Andy was lining up a scoop there, but the defender dominated that touch and got back and disrupted.
Eric Besnard finds McTaggart, and the ball goes wide and then to the deck. Annabelle Deckers-McTaggart. This one's going to be decided by one score either way. Nicholas Odriozola starts things off, and here comes the pace. That's Doug Maltby again. Just gets touched. Well, he just got touched just before he went over. Well, it looked to be, I think, if that's going to be one of those 50-50 calls. It's called on the outside. Just in terms of obviously the line markings are relatively faint because, it's washable paint on the artificial surface here at Maidenhead. In terms of getting to grips with the dimensions of the pitch, you've now played on it a few times. How comfortable are you guys now in terms of the pitch dimensions, especially on the near side as we look?
Yeah, we actually haven't had any issues with it, and the reason is just communication. Our girls are unbelievable communicators. They are telling the boys exactly where they need to. Oh, great.
Daniel Guinness, appropriately enough, and we're talking about Irish players. He's got a quintessential Irish name, and he'll be raising a toast to that with that finish and the dive over. Just to go back to what you were talking about in terms of the communication and especially on this near side.
Yeah, 100%. We have one girl, Rachel Spears, who's on our wing, and if you are not doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, she will scream at you until you are in the right position, you're going well. So communication is key there. If the lines aren't 100%, if you can just talk it up, know exactly where you have to be, and our girls are playing an unbelievable part in that.
Just a little bit of a breakdown in defence from James Venner.
What a touch. That's a game winner right there if you're making that touch.
And that brings about a touch and pass, a late pass as well, and Amsterdam will restart. They can choose to restart with a tap or a roll ball in that situation, and they've opted to start with the roll ball and can put the pedal to the metal.
That's poor. You need security there, scooping there and half just running through and getting caught.
That's Arco Hundert. And Anthony Smith makes the touch or forces the play out.
Good pre-touch.
What do you mean by that?
So when you have a lead defender, the most important thing is he or she dominates the touch and everyone else drops on side. So as soon as that touch is imminent, everybody get on side so you're on a position where you're going forward rather than backwards and rolling.
As you can see just then from Aidan Crossan, number 27, just dropping back, anticipating that Anthony Smith, just as a fantastic example and illustration of what you're talking about, Stephen.
Yes.
And Barcelona, though, get past that with some lovely offloading, and that gets a round of applause from my co-commentator, Gerson Osorio, the founder of Touch Rugby Barcelona, getting on the scoreboard this time to tie things up for the Catalans.
The mid there, who, when they step back inside, that was exactly what he was supposed to do. We need that link coming in and covering as well.
We saw a little breakdown from Barcelona to concede, and this time it's the Dutch who do the same.
Andy there was running hard. If they kept that pace, I'm sure they're going to run over Barcelona there, and now they're going to revert to a static play.
We love calling it the Mexican standoff.
Oh, score. Yep, score.
Ball's down. Andrew McTaggart gets the ball quickly off the floor. And you see him just get the ball back. It's a little quickie there. And I wouldn't say that was a defensive breakdown, would you? I think that's just exploited. The defenders did nothing wrong. got there quicker.
What I was saying earlier, Chris, was the pre-touch. If that lead defender goes up, makes the touch, and you lock in directly behind your middle, a quickie step back will never happen.
Amsterdam go back in front, but they're tying things up again. There was a scoreless first half. This second half is turning into a bit of a shootout. Jordi Campricioth, who learned how to play touch when he was living in Edinburgh a decade ago, he is scooting over the line. You can see what it means.
Brilliant score. And they took advantage of taking the link in the attack there. He was in all sorts of trouble, and they attacked short side and got the result.
40 caps and more for the Spain national team, who we'll see in Nottingham next year.
There again, look, they have great pace, they have great roll balls, they just need to attack the line. This static play is where you're going to kill yourself.
Yeah,
quickie step back.
Anthony Smith gets the ball back. They've still got another touch or two to play through the Dutch. And Smith, you see it's nice and slow, plenty of patience, and then all of a sudden, here comes the pace from Smith. Is the half, gets touched, and it's a turnover. Good defending there from James Venner. Just to look ahead again to Nottingham in a year's time, you know, the fact that it's being opened up to an international series and you're likely to play teams from further afield than just Europe, how much does that whet the appetite and want to be and push selection in the Irish national teams?
It's absolutely everything. Everyone, like the competition for, we're focused on men and women's open this year, so the competition for those two teams is going to be the best we've ever had. And the reason is we know how big oh, here we go. That's a great score.
Lovely pace coming in for his second of the half from Giazan Osorio. That's his second in the space of 2 minutes.
Hey, the exact same play as well. 32 short to the open side, or sorry, to the short side and score.
Just, we'll stick some subtitles on. What does that mean to the lay person watching at home?
So basically what's happening there is they're attacking the side with less defenders, where you're meant to cover on your outside. So the toucher that made the touch cannot be beaten on their outside,
Roque.
but every time the middle has managed to get around them.
And no doubt Billy Ngurini and the Irish senior mixed are going to be wanting to replicate their title as well of 12 months ago.
Yeah, Billy's obviously ready and preparing for everything. He's deciding on what he wants to do. He could make an appearance at Men's Open. The man is fit, strong enough, skillful enough. We'd be lucky to have a player of his stature. Okay, he's a bit small. I understand that one, Chris.
More than makes up for it, though, with the skill of his play. But in the meantime, it's here in Maidenhead, it's Amsterdam who tie things up once again. Bas Pauw packing the punch. And a lovely draw the play from Andrew McTaggart to free up Pauw on the outside.
And he's really led that team today. He's playing out of his skin. I think he's been involved every single score.
I think it's going to be too early to call whether if Barcelona win now, surely it's going to be the game winner. But at this point, clock management's going to come in. But for me, I think a draw is going to be a fair result.
Yeah, 100%, Chris. I think you're right about that one.
But Barcelona, 10 seconds to play. They've got a couple of touches to play with. Touch made on the hooter. Daniel Guinness, but they're given one more play. Ball hits the deck and it's away. That is it. Amsterdam 3, Barcelona 3. Stephen Troy from Donnybrook, good luck for the rest of the weekend, or good luck for the rest of the day.
Thank you very much, sir.
And no doubt we'll see you on this field later on. In fact, are we going to see you again on this field later on? Perhaps in the final. Perhaps. Or in the bronze medal. We'll see. Good luck for the rest of the day. And we will be back with our next round from the plates this time. It'll be Source from Guernsey up against San Roque. The Spanish remain on field one, and that'll be in just a minute or so's time.
So welcome back. We are in the thick of the action in the European Touch Club Championships 2019, and we move our attention back to the plate competition as we see Source taking on San Roque from Spain. I'm delighted to say I'm joined from BBR skipper Eddie San Juan. How are you doing, Eddie? You're saying that your body's just seizing up a tad. It's been a long weekend, hasn't it?
It has, and it's not even over yet.
Still plenty.
Still got
more
3 games to go today.
How's your day been? How's the team feeling? How are they progressing?
We've relaxed into a comp. We've got Clark Hobson back, one of our club stalwarts. So we had 2 from 2 today, 2 from 2. So we came through to the final stages after a loss against Hot Custard yesterday, 6-4 down in the final pool game. So it's nice to get a couple of wins under the belt. And we've got Cambridge up next, who are looking pretty good. So that'll be a tough game.
Yeah, locking horns. Of course, met up a couple of times in the NTS series, of course. So I'm sure it'll be I don't know if the dynamic will change, of course, playing in the European Club Champs, but I think it's I know it's going to be a cracking game, I'm sure, of yourselves.
I hope
in Cambridge.
so. I think we're next up on field 1, so hopefully you'll say nice things about us.
That's right. Yeah, Cambridge taking on BBR. That'll be coming up next in the cup competition. But our attention here, yes, on Source taking on San Roque from Spain. Source are from Guernsey. We saw them yesterday. And Source looking to try and break up the field from their own half. Let's see what they can do. So a few players that you have international experience in this Source side. Carly Parrott's 42 international caps.
Carly's played NTLs. She's a strong Aussie player. There she is.
There she goes, trying. Let's see what
the foil runner. Oh, you're half. Is he wearing gang colours? Is that red? Is he a blood or a crip? I can't tell. With a headband.
Let's have a look. If oh yeah. Harry Burns, the captain of this Source side. And here come Sam Rock. Saw them only in action once yesterday, the Spanish side.
From Valencia, I believe. So Raquel, who's number 2 there, she's been around a while. I remember playing against the World Cup 2007. And the chap who just passed the ball, Ismail, he's just had a baby actually. He lives in Edinburgh now. Number 10.
Yeah, Ismail Perez, 8 caps for Spain, from Barcelona originally. So are we going to see our first score in this first half? In our previous game, Amsterdam Barcelona, it was actually
here we go. 0-0.
Oh,
that's a late pass, I think. Matt Hobbs falling in the boots of his older brother Kevin.
And in terms of your side, Eddie, what was the team thinking going into today after yesterday? What were your processes going into the opening games and trying to obviously reach the final?
A lot of simplification, taking a lot of complexity out of there, and need to look after the ball, cradling it like a mistress's newborn baby, really. Yesterday was just too many unforced errors. We just tried to be a bit too smart, took that out and said, let's just go back to basics and run hard. Back to Tiger Country.
Well, here come Source. Let's see if they can get off the mark. Trying to spread it into the essential position, trying to burst to that line. A good touch just coming in from deep to Sarah Diaz. Originally from the Canary Islands. Actually playing for San Roque.
Looking for a good exit here. Good first touch. Second touch getting to the 10. Not too bad. Keep the momentum up now though. Lost a bit of shape.
Yeah.
Jen Lee, she's obviously been around a long time. England Women's Open. She picked up a European Championships. It's a very experienced coach. Kiko gives it off to Jen. One more pass.
Oh.
Are we in? Are we in?
I think we are.
Pulled back.
Oh no. Yeah, Robert Lynch just going through the number 17 for San Roque.
There's only a wee ball hair in that one. Really toughing it out, these teams.
Certainly are. It's been a bit of a slugfest and
not sure she was expecting that.
Yeah, she looked like a bit caught off guard there, and here comes Lynch again. He was through only moments ago. Can he try and work something for his side? Here's Delgado with his bucket hat on. Jose Delgado spreads it and finds Lynch again.
That's a good ball.
Oh, just couldn't be claimed. It was Hattie Brench Jones. English girl now living in Valencia. Has been playing for the club since 2017.
So you've got Mon Wallace, who I think is on-field ref now, picked up an award last night for her contributions to coaching around Europe.
Yeah, we did have it was an awards night, wasn't it, here in
it was,
in
it's
Maidenhead.
fantastic.
A good evening.
Bit too good. Ended up in a karaoke bar. Not sure what happened.
Do you sing a song?
I'm the piano man. I've got that.
And
it's Friday night.
And here come San Roque. Here's Robert Lynch spreading out to his left-hand side. Now back into the middle. Here's Perez. Mark Hickey. Here's Lynch again.
Here we go. Here we go.
Good
Strike
yards.
play.
Can they complete
Down.
it?
Ball down. We had this girl ref who's on just awarded the score. He had a very good game earlier. Very assertive. It's great to see in a referee.
Good combination. Ishmael Perez and Robert Lynch now going over, and we have our first score then. 5 minutes remaining of this first half. Are we going to see another low-scoring affair? Let's see how Source can respond.
How are these two teams doing in their pool?
Well, we'll have to have a look at the group stages. I haven't had a chance to look at the plate groups as of yet. It might just have to be updated.
Nice ball through the hands. Nice option, just
both sides just getting the reports in the middle of the group. So still plenty to play for both sides. And I think that is the beauty of this weekend, isn't it? Every game matters so much, even every point in the points difference. It could be so crucial,
and
can't it?
Especially today, every game will be close. Every team's been put in with groups of equal parity, so every game will be tight. You expect to have wins by 1 or wins by 2.
And is that
Mon going to give the score? She's awarded it.
And she has. And
is that Carly?
It is. Is it? Yes, it is Carly Parrott. Or has it been given? No.
No.
It was Carly Parrott who went over. There's Harry Burns in the middle. Burns gets it back, jinking one way then to his left-hand side, and that space was closed down on this near side wings, and good defence from San Roque.
You been to Valencia?
I've passed through it. I passed through it on the train a couple of years ago as I was heading up to a little place called Benicassim, which is just north of Valencia. I only stopped in there for about half an hour. It's a lovely, lovely part of the world.
Home of the paella?
Yes.
Yeah. Not a paella.
No.
Not a paella,
no.
paella.
Absolutely.
Oh, jinking run.
Lovely run by Robert Lynch.
What can Jen orchestrate here? Is this back door coming? ML. Oof, ball down. No. Oh, so
Jose
close.
Delgado. He's nicknamed the fisherman, and hence the bucket hat on his
Another
head.
one who's given a lot to touch. I think he used to go out and coach Chile. He's been out there a couple of times, him and his twin brother.
Yeah, he's been playing since 2007. He's played in New Zealand, and he even appeared on interesting fact, he appeared on many TV quiz shows in Spain
really,
as well. Yeah, Jose Delgado as well. So he
he's quite a personality.
Yeah, a bit of a personality, and maybe a bit of a brainy one at that as well.
I might go and ask for his autograph.
Might have to try and dig up some old archive footage maybe to see if we can find him in action. And
Family Fortunes, the Spanish version.
And here comes Source. Can they reply? Can they try and get back into this one? 2 minutes to go.
Keep that momentum going. Ball down.
They have as
and
well.
He kept his feet in field. Good feet. Oh, forward pass.
It's Chris Dorr on this near side who claimed it, but yeah, like you said, Eddie, forward pass.
Putting a guy and a girl on the wing there, trying to create the mismatch.
Nice little turn away from Robert Lynch. He's really looked lively so far in this game. I mean, a real instigator. And, been trying to create as much as he can for his side. And Source looking to try and bounce back after looking like they've got that.
Just a minute and a half left on the clock. They're not going to get many sets after this. 32 short. Ooh, just got the timing off. We need to force a turnover here.
So a minute remaining of this first half, and at the moment the Spanish side will be going into the break with the lead. Oh, strong touch.
Just hold on to that ball. Turnover midfield, 50 seconds to play.
This could be a real momentum shifter, couldn't it, if Source can get over the line.
Our first game yesterday, we got penalty just with 30 seconds to play, and we got a score on the hooter. So that was can make a difference.
Hurricanes game, wasn't it? Opening game of the weekend, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Did that really set the tone for your side? Did it just give you that boost?
It certainly give us a good wake up. Oh, throw long, throw long, throw long.
Oh, he goes for the line himself. James Monk. Oh,
it's awarded.
It's confirmed, and with
19
seconds remaining.
Seconds on the clock.
Well,
he needs to work on that throwback a little bit.
Does that just change the complexion of this game going into the break? Source.
Quickly bad.
And the referee brings the first half to an end, and Source bring the game level with only seconds to spare in this first, and that could just change the mood and the momentum of this game. And we'll be back for the second half of this Plate Cup match. Source taking on San Roque. And Eddie, thank you very much for joining us in the commentary box, and we'll be back in a couple of moments' time. And at the break, we have Chris, who will be joining Kevin Tracy from Barcelona. Chris is pitch side.
Kevin, let's have a quick look back at that game against Amsterdam first off. It was 0-0 at half-time, turned into a bit of a shootout in the second half. What was said during the break?
We just knew we had to tighten up our defence and work on our attacking plays on the line. We noticed that there was some space on the wing, so we tried to exploit that. And we actually ended up scoring more in the middle because we played wide and there was more space in the middle. And I think they saw the same thing. They're a great team, and it was a pretty evenly matched game, so we're both pretty happy with the result.
In terms of the lower down, we've been talking to teams in the cup about about how even it is at that level. The same obviously applies lower down through the tiers. Are you almost enjoying more today, a little bit more because of that?
Yeah, it goes both ways. We are enjoying being more competitive with each game, but then when we're playing the teams that are the elite teams of Europe on the first day, we actually do learn a lot, and it is great for our guys that are up and coming. I'm a little older now, but we have some younger links coming through that really get great experience from playing those wonderful teams yesterday. But then again today, it's great to be in these games and get close to winning and drawing, and it's been great for everyone.
Not exactly a native Catalan accent from you. But there's a few expats, obviously yourself, and then there's some English players playing. It was the same thing applied for the Amsterdam guys as well. In terms of having that mix of locals and overseas players, what does that do for the sport in those areas?
Sure, of course. I'm from Australia. I'm the coach of Barcelona, but we need those expats who've had that experience growing up, and then we can teach the locals the basic skills, and then they can grow from there, which is wonderful.
The same thing applies to San Roque as well. We can see Jen Lee on the field, who's played England's women's 27s. Just in terms of, just talk to me a little bit about the scene as a whole in Spain, because it's growing all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So San Roque is from the Valencia area, and we're from Barcelona. So we try and get together and play against them. Barcelona and Valencia are two of the stronger clubs in Spain, but we're really seeing growth in Madrid, down south and up north. So we're really happy with how that's going.
As a volunteer sport, there's lots of time and financial demands on everybody, but particularly in a country as big as Spain.
Yeah, absolutely. Travel is always difficult. Thankfully, Valencia and Barcelona is only a few hours apart, so we can play each other, but that always has been a challenge. Places like England and Scotland definitely can get together more often and train easier. But we're getting there. There's more funding coming through from the Catalan government. We're trying to get younger people playing more and more. And overall, we're pretty happy with the result.
And we were chatting as San Roque scored, and the aforementioned Jen Lee goes over for San Roque. We're talking in commentary during your game with Stephen Troy from Donnybrook about how Ireland are viewing next year's European Championships from the Spanish perspective. How much are you guys looking to? How much is the national team looking to improve year on year from last year?
So, like I said, because of the club growth that we have in Valencia and Barcelona, we are going to try and put a women's team together and a men's team if we can, which would be wonderful for touch. I think men's and women's is the way to go. And we're seeing a lot of growth in that area. And I know that we are getting together already for training camps as a Spanish national club team. So that's happening now. So that's great.
Kevin, thanks for your time. Best of luck for the rest of the weekend. Back up to Brad to continue this with this game. San Roque having just scored. Source with the pressure on the San Roque line, but San Roque are going to restart with the penalty. Back up to Brad.
And we are back underway deep into this second half. San Roque taking on Source, and you would have just seen as Chris was interviewing Kevin Tracy from Barcelona, that San Roque back in front. It was really lovely play. Robert Lynch, as he has been so far in this game, the chief instigator. And lovely play from San Roque, but it's not going to be completed. It won't be a score, so it will stay at 2-1 to San Roque. 10 minutes remaining in what is another really close encounter, as Eddie Sanwan from BBR was talking about. Of course, the matches yesterday pulled all these teams together into many different competitions, and we've got some really even and fascinating matchups now. And he will be playing for BBR in the next game, which will be BBR against Cambridge, an all-English affair. And that was James Monk, just failed to control that ball coming forward, and now San Roque can now try and instigate attacking phase down this near side. Some fresh legs come on and try and put some fresh impetus into this attack. And there goes Jose Delgado into the middle. Robert Lynch. As the wind is just slightly picking up here in Maidenhead. It's a lot cooler day than it was yesterday. It was a very humid and muggy day for these players, and a lot of them were feeling the effects last night at the awards dinner that we had. And San Roque looking to try and defend this one as Source come forward. So opportunities for Source to try and draw a level. Harry Burns is in the middle there. Carly Parrots, he's a key player in this sort of side, and Burns just trying to flick it up back into the path of Carly Parrott, but the opportunity goes begging. So they're moving the ball onto halfway. This is a nice move from San Roque. Just weaving in and out. That's a sixth touch. I don't know if they just lost count and they lost the momentum from that attack in the end. There's Raquel Hernandez, nicknamed Ruby, who tried to wiggle her way through. Here comes Source now, the attack of her own. Oh, turnover now, and plenty of turnovers in this second half, and a real opportunity for either side to really try and get some momentum. If San Roque can get the next one and move into a 2-point lead, you almost feel that that could be enough to force home the victory. Here's Jose Delgado. Delgado gets it back. But again, a chance for Source now to attack, and look at that, straight out of the firing blocks, almost like an Olympic sprinter just getting out of the starting blocks and somehow just keeping the ball alive. And the ball spread out to the wing. Tanya Schultz is there. Mitch Hamer looking to try and work his way through, does he? No, he doesn't. And here is Hamer again. Tanya Schultz, 16 international caps for Tanya Schultz, the number 19 for Source. And Hamer looking to try and wiggle his way through again, but stern and stubborn defence from San Roque. 5 minutes to go. Oh, just couldn't claim it. It was Tom Zia. His eyes lit up as he saw the gaping hole through, but he just couldn't cling on to the ball. And now a chance for San Roque to come forward. Of Robert Lynch on the 10-metre mark. Good yards made up through the middle. Can they try and exploit something on the wing? Here's Jose Delgado on the 10-metre mark with his bucket hat on. He means business. There's Jose. Trying to find an angle. That was Ismael Perez, and there's Robert Lynch also in support. Perez and going in and just getting mixed up with the lines. We've seen it a couple of times over the weekend. Hattie Brent-Jones. Seen a couple of players just getting the lines muddled up and just getting slightly confused. So 3.5 minutes remaining. Can San Roque just hold on to this tight lead that they have? Enrique Heso is looking to try and get in support, and this could be an opportunity to kill off the game. Mark Hickey, his first international tournament, the number 19 for San Roque. He's originally from Ireland, Mark Hickey. So to try and drink right and left, and use those red boots, those fire red boots to his chance. Oh, what an opportunity that was to maybe kill off the game. Hattie Brent-Jones, she put the ball down on the 5-metre line by mistake just a couple of moments ago, and potentially had the chance there to kill off what has been a tight game between these two. Now can Source manoeuvre their way up the field. They're going with a bit of sense of purpose and direction. Over the halfway line they go, and here's Burns. Look at this. Oh, no, gangly. And his tall legs of Burns just giving away in behind him, and he just slips, and the referee just wants to make sure he was okay, and he seems fine, Harry Burns. I say that, and he just seems a bit winded, and he's going to have to make way. Referee just telling him to take a minute. Not long to go though. Now can Source, can they get back level? Chance maybe for them. Oh, do they hang on? Does the ball get grounded in time? No. Referee just signaling that the ball wasn't grounded, and good sportsmanship from Jose Delgado, just giving his opposition just a quick pass on the back. Jacques Lavelle. Oh, and there we go. Source do get a score in before the end. And that was well done by Source, and that space just opened up on the side. Oh, lovely take and score. It was Lucy Pratt, 9 international caps, predominantly a rugby union player, playing in this touch rugby format. And with 30 seconds to go, nothing to separate the two sides. Are we going to see one last score from Sam Roque? This is the opportunity to do it. This is the chance, Roque, to win the game. Couple of seconds to remain. Oh, some space potentially opening up for Source. Could they finish this off? Source getting away. Chance. No, brought back, and the referee bringing the ball back all the way towards the 10 metre, and well, the Hooser has gone. So Sam Roque looking to try and come forward. Here's Jose Delgado over halfway. Can they try and work something here? There goes the touch, and there goes the full time whistle. So nothing to separate these two sides, Sam Roque and Source, at 2 apiece in this plate match. And we'll now move on our attention back to the cup game, and an all English affair next as Cambridge take on BBR. So we are underway once again here in Maidenhead for the European Touch Club Championships 2019. BBR taking on Cambridge Hornets. And this one should be another cracking affair, an all-English game. We've seen these two sides meet up in the NTS series. Who's going to come out on top in the European Touch Club Champs? If you did follow our coverage of the NTS series, you'll know these players inside out. And let's see who gets off to the perfect start. Both sides have their qualities and weaknesses. We had Eddie San Juan with us only moments ago in that first half. So Cambridge taking on BBR in this one in the cup competition. I'm delighted to say that I am joined by Harry Burns from Source, who's just been in that game with Sam Roque, and nothing to separate you two sides. It was a really close affair. And what was it like to play it?
Oh, it's a tough day. I mean, it's the third, fourth game of the second day, and it's a hard day, but it's good fun. Some good guys in our team, some new players to touch. So it's exciting to see these young players. I mean, the last score for Guernsey was a player who's never played for any Guernsey team before, so he's very happy with his one score.
And just tell us actually a little bit about the setup in Guernsey and around. Obviously, you've got Jersey nearby as well, the Channel Islands. So what's the setup like with the touch rugby over there?
So touch rugby actually is starting to grow a bit more. We had, I think, 270 registered players for the Summer League this year, which is ongoing, which Source also competes in. And it's a continuously growing sport. We've got youth players coming through, business teams coming through, and development's going well. And we have every year, I think it's in October, we've got Guernsey versus Jersey, the Inters. So it's exciting competition, always good.
I can imagine
battle.
that's a feisty affair.
Oh, it always is, but it's always in good spirits. There's good guys in Jersey team.
And if you're following obviously our coverage, if you're tuning into us, following our NTS coverage, you have seen these both sides, Cambridge and BBR. They're both very talented sides, aren't they? Packed of experience.
Yeah, we played against the Cambridge team yesterday. It was a very hard-fought game. Very strong players, some very young players as well in the team. And I'm very pleased to see in the BBR team, I think it's a player coming up near the ball, number 15. He is actually a Jersey player, and we'll be seeing him in the Inters against us.
Brilliant stuff. And yeah, here we go. Cambridge looking to go in again. That's Matty Maynard. He's had a fantastic weekend himself, and he's got another one. He's a bit of a live wire in this Cambridge side. Is Matty Maynard, and they have doubled their lead, so they are 2 up Cambridge, and a cracking start to this all-English affair. So in terms of your team, what were you sort of thinking coming into the weekend? It's obviously a fantastic opportunity to play sides from around Europe. It must be so exciting for you guys.
This is it's excellent, and we're honoured to be invited. It's the first time any Channel Island team's been invited to this competition. So to see both Guernsey and Jersey teams represented in this competition is huge for us. And both our sponsors and Guernsey Touch were very excited to see our team arrive and compete. We didn't actually know how to come into this. We did one tournament away in Italy last year, and this is obviously a different step. It's a step up, but it's great for these players who haven't done Euro. I mean, I've done the past 3 Euros. We've got a player on our team called Oliver Ward, or Alfie. He's got 71 caps, so he's very well versed. We've got players on our team who've got no caps at all, so it's exciting for them to come to this big tournament and see how hard it is.
And in terms of obviously those players that maybe haven't got the experience, like likes of Oliver Ward, of course, 71 international caps. I mean, is he obviously giving out really good advice to those guys? And is it almost feels like a bit of a test event for yourselves to really give those players a chance to play in games like you are today?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see these players having to step up to this level. I mean, I started touch when I was 13. I'm now 20, so it's been 7 years of, coming up 8 years of touch. And Alfie was a big part of me progressing as a player and developing me as a player. So he's kind of like he's chairman for Guernsey Touch, and he's kind of like seen as the godfather figure of Guernsey Touch. So he brings on lots of players, and he's a great coach, and it's brings through these young players. For example, James Monk, Etienne Lavalle, who's going to JTC for competing for the Wales under-18 team. He is a very, very young player at 17 years old, and went to last Euros, and he's progressing well.
Yeah, you mentioned there the JTC, the Junior Touch Championships happening in Paris, and of course we've got a lot of players over this course of the weekend for all teams who are going to be there. And speaking to players, they just seem so excited that there's lots of youngsters still coming through the game, which must be great.
I mean, yeah, it's, we have a big fear when it was years ago. There was an age group of people that went into touch, and we'd had this fear of what's going to happen when they all retire. Yeah. But then suddenly these new legs have started coming through. I mean, I still consider myself relatively young, at turning 21 this year. So, but we've got lots of young players, and we've got in our team, I think there's 5 of us below 20, about 21 and below. So we've got these fresh legs coming in, which is really, really nice to see.
And as a club, do you obviously you're trying to focus them on the pitch and their skills and how to play the game, but what about off the field as well? Is you trying to coach them into sort of keeping the club going alive off the field as well?
There's always the challenge of trying to develop these new bringing in players who are from business league teams who just come over for just playing for their business and just doing it as a bit of a social, and progressing them into coming into these bigger teams, which is we've got 5 big teams in Guernsey that all battle out for the mixed league. So it's trying to bring those players who necessarily haven't actually thought of doing touch as a serious thing and bring it into playing at this. I mean, for example, one of our players called Mitchell Hamer, who I imagine you saw stepping around the pitch like anything. He actually,
twinkle boost, doesn't
yes,
he, Mitch Hamer?
He's actually from Brisbane, and he came over here as a physio 3-4 years ago, and we just met him out, and we said, look, he said, I played a bit of rugby, why don't you try touch? And he's still doing it now. He's Guernsey men's top scorer in the Euros this year, which is, as you can see by his style. Yeah.
And in come Cambridge again. This is another one of these youngsters, Sam Missing. He's had a great year for Cambridge. He's a bit of a whippet in this Cambridge side, always trying to cause problems, and he's trying to get through again. This BBR defence standing strong. BBR coming into the weekend, one of the favourites for the Elite Cup, of course, and it must be great just to see these sides of in action, in front of your very eyes. It must be great.
It's an excellent experience. I mean, especially like we've gone from going to Euros, and you watch the big teams, you watch Scotland, England, all these big clubs, big teams against each other, and then you come to club level and you see this kind of unity amongst the players, the people who play together week in, week out, and their closeness, their knowledge of the game, and the fact that they can almost look at each other and go, I know what the player we're going to go with, and so on. It's a great image to set for our players who are looking to progress to that next level.
And here come BBR. Can they get back level? There's interestingly BBR. They've been in some real close games here on pitch one. They had a tight contest against Hurricanes first up yesterday. Only one on the hooter, and a chance that was for Finley Lockhart to go for the line. One of the originals from this BBR setup, Finley Lockhart. And looking for options left and right. Gareth Revel there. He's a bit of a old-timer for BBR. Of course, a very experienced Welsh international, Gareth Revel. And Cambridge just defending well at the moment. Let's see if they can try and get up the line. Glenn Jones is Ollie Maynard. The 2 Maynards on the field at the moment, but they're now coming off. And there's the young Harry Missin. Cat Jones makes some really good yards, and she gets away from Hannah Crisp. Can she finish it off? Good covering defence from Cat Jones. Just couldn't pull away on that one. And ball play back into Nikki Fern, spraying it off to Matthew Sandler. A little bit of a skip in the air for Matthew Sandler as he tried to get past Gareth Revel, but Revel, for a big lad, gets down really well to get that touch in, and Fern just swinging his arms left and right, picks up Sandler. Sandler goes in, and was there a touch? Referee signalling just a bit of deliberation going on. Oh, does call for that touch, does he?
And from that play before, it's that horrible feeling of when you break through and you go, oh no, I've got to run. I've got to run so far. And you kind of just impending doom of going, I'm going to be caught, this is just going to accept it.
And Gareth Revel now making up some really good yards. His pass over the halfway. Oncoming is Mark Knight and Clark Hobson there. He wasn't playing yesterday, but he's back in the BBR setup today. Here is Hobson. Driving for the line. Oh, what a superb touch that was. It looked like, yes, it was, from Matthew Sandler. And just dropping the ball at his feet. And a minute to go. Very close between these two sides who have met on many occasions. And obviously just talking briefly about the opportunity to play these sides around Europe. Are you picking up different things that you're seeing from like the French side, from the Dutch side, from the Germans? Is it things that you can maybe take on to how you play the game?
It's for us. It was one thing that we noticed straight away was that we needed to prepare ourselves for that intensity. The defence we had, our first game was against Buffaloes, and they shot up so excellently against us, and we immediately went beautiful scoop through. Excellent score.
There we go. Cambridge now extending that lead just before the break. That is the perfect time to score. But yeah, sorry. You're saying about the chance to play Hurricanes, and yeah, how did you prepare for that?
The Hurricanes as well. It's a real challenge when they come on that really efficient shooting. It's trying to gain that momentum, but once we hit a strong drive, it was just pummeling, just keep hitting them. But it was a big wake-up call because at our summer league, for example, we played summer league, and Source as a team has been going since 2009 or 2007. We've won it this mixed league every single since 2012 till 2018, minus 1 year we lost out in 2014 in the final, unfortunately in a drop-off. But it's that different intensity, that hard physical play, and preparing yourself to hit every single drive as hard as you can. You don't have that relaxing moment of going, okay, I can go in a bit more relaxed now. They're holding back. There's no holding back here.
No, it's certainly been an intense weekend, and we are at the break between Cambridge Hornets and BBR, an all-English encounter, and it's Cambridge who currently lead by 3 points to 1. That score at only a couple of seconds before that hooter, could that provide a massive momentum swing in favour of Cambridge? Well, myself and Harry will be back for the second half very shortly here at the European Touch Club Championships 2019.
Touch is made up of 3 positions on the field. You've got a wing, a link and a mid. That is replicated on the other side of the pitch, so you have 2 sets of each.
So yeah, only a couple of seconds to go then to the start of this second half. Cambridge Hornets taking on BBR. Do you think that score just before half-time, Harry Burns from Source, do you think that might be a momentum swing in favour of Cambridge potentially?
I would say so. I mean, the team talk would drastically change. If you're 2-1 up, you think, oh, it's a very close game. You've got to be really careful about what's going on. But with that 3-1, they've got the confidence to go into it thinking, okay, we can go in a bit smoother. We can go in and just think with positive mindsets. Whereas imagine BBR thinking, right, that last score, it's gone in. We need to forget about it, focus on the next half. And it's 12 minutes to go. It's a long way to go. A lot of time for BBR to come back into it, but if Cambridge can extend their lead.
And here comes Cambridge. If they can get the first score of the second half, that will really open things up. Here's Sam Missing with Maynard trying to spread the ball out to Ollie Maynard. He tries to find his brother in the middle as Gareth Revel, the big brick wall of Gareth Revel, just halting that attack. Let's see if Matty Maynard can try and instigate something. Here's Sam Missing. Those three normally try and work their magic. Sam Missing now. He sees the line in his sights. Is he going to go and get through? A superb touch just before the line, and this BBR defence standing very strong. Here's Sam Missing again, trying to instigate something. Looking to his left, and he sees Matty Maynard. Cat Jones is in your picture, the number 2. Ollie Maynard was just there running in. Sam Missing gets himself in. Oh, what a fantastic dive and score, was it? No, referee seeing something, and potentially it was nearly a fantastic score. And BBR, I think that was important for BBR, wasn't it, just to hold out there?
It was an excellent touch from the line. It's a very important thing for a player to know their positioning on the field. If you see the line, I mean, unfortunately the lines are pretty faint on here, and there's another line beforehand which is just unrelated. It's for rugby union, but for a player to know their positioning is crucial. If you hit that line, immediately step forward, prepare yourself for that person that's going to make the dive.
Back into the centre. Oh, what a save! Oh, the referee's brought it back. Ollie Maynard, his eyes lit up, and he saw the lights, a line in front of him, but he's being brought back. So 2 minutes gone in the second half. BBR really need this next score. Can they try and find it? There's James Tweedy, the youngster in this BBR side. Oh, going for the line. Does the touch come in for Matty?
Score's given.
Score is given. And we're back to a point difference, and that could prove massive for BBR. Only that 1 point in it now. Let's have another look at the replay. Just James Tweedy slowing things down, almost just selling it, getting it back in, and there goes James Tweedy in. Matty Maynard just can't get the touch in time. And Cambridge now have the opportunity to try and see if they can respond. Matthew Sandler into towards Slater in the middle. Slater makes up some really good yards. Sandler laying it back to Maynard into the centre. Sandler, Slater gets it back. Maynard's there in support. Maynard scoops it up and looks to spread it out right to Glenn Jones. The experienced Glenn Jones, but a critical touch, and the players forced to be slowed down. Sandler looks to go back in. Jones tries to find Slater in the middle, but again, this BBR defence, was that more of a luck, or was it also organised, or a bit of both?
It's hard to, that's a very unlucky to get that lost control, and it's very disheartening when you're wanting to sub and you're very, very tired, and you just have a mistake made on the field. Nobody wants it to happen, but it does happen, and it's that moment of going, oh, and back defending another 6.
Yeah, good opportunity now. This is for Cambridge. Can they utilise it? Cat Jones is in the middle, the experienced Cat Jones. Glenn Jones is also in your picture. Here's Maynard, full of running as always. Touch comes in.
One excellent thing I've seen from Cambridge is their setup for the second phase. It's really hard defensively to, when that first touch is made and you're setting yourself back, and then it's immediately they're quickly making that quick second move off. So it's to say if they make a touch here. Ooh. 5th touch.
And down to the final one. Clark Hobson there on a Sam Missing. Almost chipped over himself, Sam Missing. And that is the turnover possession. So BBR defend well, and now their opportunity inside their own half to try and drive up the field. Gareth Revel, what can he do? Can he make up some yards? And Will Lawrence just laying it off to Clark Hobson on again.
Another defensive 6.
And we've heard the term coach killer being used a couple of times. And as a coach, that must be so frustrating.
It's, as a player, it's called, for me, it's called it's heartbreaking. It's just a moment of going, you've played a lot of games, you're playing a lot of minutes, and you suddenly have to realise, oh, I've got to defend again, and also work out for that subbing off again. It's very much mental strength to kind of just go, okay, I've accepted that this isn't going to go for me. I've got to work again, and then get off.
Here's Matty Maynard just toying away with Mark Knight, and he's just sort of dancing left and right. Cat Jones is there. Maynard gets it back and finds his brother Ollie. And Cat Jones with a sweeping pass to and another opportunity here for Cambridge on the 5-metre line now. This is a great chance for Cambridge to try and extend that scoreline.
You've got to feel for BBR. It's another 6 sets on that line. It's a hard shift to do, but Cambridge must be loving it. They've got plenty of opportunities at the line to get that score in. And with a 3-2 scoreline, that extra score, that 4-2, excellent touch. That 4-2 scoreline will be a big mental boost for them, considering there's last 6 minutes to go.
Yeah, we've talked to a couple of players and coaches throughout the weekend, and those 12-minute halves, they just fly by, don't they, compared to those 20-minute halves that we're used to a lot of the time. And even as we've been doing the coverage this weekend, you look up at the scoreline, and 1 minute's 11 minutes, and then there's only 30 seconds to go. It's really does fly by quickly, doesn't it?
It flies by. I mean, I'm watching this game and it flies by quick. But when you're on that field and you're thinking, I am knackered, every second drags, and you're praying for that final whistle. Especially if you're up by like 1 or 2, you're thinking, just come on, ref, blow that whistle. But I'm coming from Euros when it's 20-minute halves. It shows the team's strength to stay together and do it over 4 days, to just mentally stay together and go, right, we've got to keep working together. We're all in the same ship, and the players here know that feeling.
And BBR look to try and get back to all square. Bang on, 5 minutes to go. There was James Tweedy there, was trying to instigate something, one of the younger statesmen in this side. But now Cambridge with the opportunity to drive forward. Here's Martin Maynard laying it off to Ollie. And the two brothers work something. Here's Cat Jones. Some new faces come on. Then Jones, Matthew Sandler, I see coming into the picture. There's Vicky Franks and Sam Missing's there. Ben Powell, Matthew Sandler, I should say. Picking up over the 10 metres. Sandler gets it back to Samuel Missing. On the opportunity goes. And now these are the chances in these low-scoring affair, which has been a tight contest. These are the opportunities they've got to try and take. Look at this run through the middle. Good yards made up by a critical touch that was from Matthew Sandler. Here's James Tweedy. He gets it back. Vinny Lockhart toying with Samuel Missing, back into the middle. James Tweedy. Those two just couple of 1-2 short passes between themselves. James Tweedy looking to go out wide. Is the opportunity opening up?
You could see the players there when it came to that stepping battle. It's the squaring off, and it's that moment of kind of going, I'm waiting for one player to kind of give a little so I know which way to go. And I've been in that situation many times before, and it's as a defender, you just stand your ground, hope that player does not just kind of give away onto you. But it's a proper duel when it comes down to it.
Slater back inside to Glenn Jones, and now Nicky Ferns makes up some yards back into the BBR half. Over the 10-metre mark they go, jinking left and right. Is Ollie Maynard looking to try and feed Glenn Jones in the middle, but turnover and possession, and no one seems to be wanting to try and close this game out. Can BBR get back to all squares? Finley Lockhart just jinks his back away to avoid the touch. Hannah Chris running on at pace and look to make some really good yards. There's Clark Hobson in support. Big touch from Glenn Jones.
So that's an offside penalty. It's 6 on the line, last 2.5 minutes to go. BBR have got to be there looking for that last minute score, and it's speaking as our game went down to a draw, you're just very glad that it's not going to drop-offs yet.
Yes, of course. Yeah, you mentioned the drop-offs. They will get those in the finals, of course, if they're needed, and they are quite something to watch if as a spectator. But as a player, I can imagine they are the most grueling thing possible. Especially as it's the last game of a 2-day tournament. But we've had it before. We're in our league games, and it's been the League Cup final, and and just, she looked like she fumbled it for a second.
Loss of control.
Oh, unbelievable, hands on head. Can't believe it. And is that the big chance they were waiting for? Has it passed them by? It was Miriam Evans there on the wing. They can't believe it. Will Lawrence with his hands in his head. And Harry, sorry, yeah, you were just talking about those drop-offs.
So with the drop-offs, we've had it before where it's just constantly battling it out and you're trying to wait for that one score. And we've got it down to 3 versus 3 on the field, and it is grueling. The full-size field with 3 versus 3, it's horrific to play, but it is always a good laugh. But you always feel at the end of it, that dreaded feeling of fatigue just kicks in.
Well, you can see both sides are giving this absolutely everything. Can BBR get back level as we're just entering with a minute to go until that hooter? There's Papas, can she do anything? And the Mark Knight was there in support. Finley Lockhart is also there. Finley Lockhart, Gareth Revel, he needs to try and do something for his side. Over the 5 metre mark they go. Ball goes out wide. It's just over the hands of the winger. And is that the opportunity, the final opportunity gone for BBR? And are Cambridge going to go on and win this?
I imagine in the Cambridge minds they're thinking we're 3-2 up. If I was on their team, I would be thinking it's game management. Just hold the ball, just keep it for that full 6, get it towards their line. It's going to be hard with the amount of time left for BBR to get the field, but it's touch and anything's possible. Anything can happen.
Glenn Jones using all his experience there as he gets the touch of Finley Lockhart on the 10 metre line. Cat Jones. And you can see the pace of this game slowed right down. Here's Ollie Maynard. Look to try and find Nicky Ferns back inside. A lovely looping pass back into Nicky Ferns, and he's eating at the time. Seconds remaining. Surely the hooter's going to go any minute now, and it does. And the high fives, and that was the final touch. And that is full time. It's all English affair between Cambridge and BBR. Cambridge winning at 3-2 over BBR. And it's been a fascinating contest between two sides we've seen in action coming up against each other in the NTS series. Well, Harry, thank you very much for joining me in the commentary box, and good luck for the rest of the afternoon. And we will move on to our next game, which will come from the bowl competition this time, and it will be RCL Luxembourg taking on Frankfurt. That'll be our next game here in Maidenhead for the European Touch Club Championships 2019. We'll see you in a couple of moments' time. So back underway here in Maidenhead, and we have two of these European sides battling it out. RCL Touch taking on Frankfurt Touch, and it's Frankfurt who look like they're going to get off to the best possible start inside the opening 20 seconds, and what a fantastic score that was from MG Pupel, from Semyon Hebler, I do apologise, from Frankfurt, the founder of the Frankfurt Touch Club in 2009. Inside the opening minute, Frankfurt take a early lead. So as we get these opening couple of minutes underway, delighted to say I'm joined by Ben Powell from Cambridge Hornets, who have just managed to get over the line against BBR. Another really tight contest, an English affair.
Yeah, really tight. We're one each going into this tournament. They had it over us at a recent NTS event, and we beat them over in Paris in GIF. So all was on the line, and both teams trying to keep their finals hopes alive as well. So really tough contest, but we're really pleased with the performance.
And you, of course, you were in action yesterday, but you're coaching today. So how was it getting back on the field yesterday? Did you have a good time?
Yeah, no, lovely. I took a bit of a head knock, so I'm the coach of the team anyway, so it's easier to let the young guns out there to run around. I might lace the boots back up later on this afternoon, but we'll see.
It must be so exciting for your side when you've got the likes of obviously Ollie and Matty Maynard, Sam Missing and Harry as well also involved. It must be great seeing all these youngsters come through.
Yeah, I mean, look, our average age in the team's down around 21.8 or something like that, which is fantastic to see. We have a big focus on elite junior development at our club, and we made a conscious decision over the last couple of years to bring our younger guys into the team. We took a knock on some of the results early on in that phase, but it's paying dividends now, so which is good.
Yeah, and young Harry Missing. Sam was on comms with us yesterday, and he was saying that his brother Harry got the late call. I think it was last week. I think he did.
Yeah,
Harry,
we've had a couple of withdrawals. We're missing two of our regular guys and one of our girls. But look, we've still got a strong roster, and as demonstrated in only losing one game yesterday, and in a shout with making the final for today as well. So yeah.
And in terms of obviously yesterday and then looking ahead for today, what was the team's thought process going into today?
Yeah, look, we know we're competitive. We know we've got the game plan to deliver. So it just come down to execution and attitude for us. We've had a good day today already. Our aim coming into this tournament was top 6. So that was secured yesterday. So that pressure off today has allowed us to perform. As coach, I lay a lot onto the players, particularly at a young age. My expectations are quite high, and they've really delivered this weekend so far. So yeah, it's exciting.
And we see two sides in action here, Frankfurt and RCL Touch. Two sides, of course, you won't face, of course, in the NTS series or anything like that. So this opportunity must be great for these youngsters to play the likes of all these European sides. Must be a great chance.
It's really enjoyable. And I mean, a lot of those boys have had the opportunity, and girls, to play at European Championships, but it's not the same as a European club tournament. We travel as Cambridge Touch quite a bit as well, which is nice. So there's some faces that are familiar, i.e. we played at Frankfurt in their competition last year, which we won. Played Frankfurt in the final, actually, so some familiar faces, and it's just good to get particularly the home nation countries that continental exposure. The continental teams bring such an eclectic kind of experience to these tournaments, and it's a very different culture. So yeah, it's great to see so many teams from out mainland Europe here representing their countries this weekend as well.
Yeah, we've got a representation from Germany, the Netherlands, Spain, and Roque, and Barcelona, of course, here this weekend. And an RCL touch from Luxembourg, of course. So it really is almost like a real celebration of European touch rugby, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that was the intention behind the tournament. When we looked at establishing it and seeing if it was feasible, it was trying to bring back that club culture that's so present in mainland Europe, and combine it with the elite series that we have here in England and Scotland and Wales as well. So yeah.
And in terms of your side in the NTS series, how do you think you fared in that series? And it was really interesting going from Banbury to Oxford and Manchester. The weather conditions played a part, of course. So it must have been great for your side, for your youngsters specifically, to see those changing conditions and learn to adapt to those, I guess.
Yeah, we had an inconsistent season, I think is fair to say. Right down to the last tournament where we finished second in our group. Third in our group rather, and then went and knocked off second place overall in the quarterfinal. So we did things the hard way this year, which is fine, all better for the experience. And yeah, going from the rain to the 30-degree heat in Oxford. But
it was searing heat, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. So look, we've learnt a lot this season, particularly the younger players, and at such a young age to sort of say, well, it's another year under their belt. As club coach, I'm really pleased with that. And soon enough they'll probably be keeping me out of the team as well. So,
of course, the Junior Touch Championships coming on in a couple of weekends' time. Of course, I know Sam and is Harry going as well?
Yeah, so you've got Sam and Harry in the mixed 18s team. You've got Lucy Norban, who was the far winger in the girls 18s team. You've got Maddie Maynard in the boys 18s team. Ollie's just graduated from that, so he's been a long time representative of the boys 18s. And then both Maddie and Sam have just come back from the Touch World Cup, playing for the Mixed Open, and Lucy played for the Women's Open. And then on top of that, you then got the ones that have come down from the senior ranks. So Kat Jones was part of the Women's 27s. Glenn Jones, her husband, was part of the senior mixed side. Tamara Slater was part of the senior mixed side. Vicky Franks was part of the Women's 27s as well. And then we've got a few other players coming through. So Megan Pemberton, she was part of the England Scholars, which is the University England side. And then Matty Sandlant, he's been a recent addition over the last 12 months for us. So, and I have a strong bet that he'll find himself in international representation very soon as well. So.
And as a coach, are you looking to try and sort of form those little partnerships? I know you've got the experience of yourself, and like Glenn Jones and Kat Jones, of course. Are you trying to sort of get little partnerships, giving advice, maybe like Glenn Jones to Sam, and is that something you work on as a coach?
Yeah, yes, definitely. Quite informally in many ways, and as a club we sort of foster that as well. A lot of the team come from the same local league side as well. So in Cambridge we have two of my teams, and most of these players play in that. So you're getting the younger boys and girls getting those combinations every Wednesday night in Cambridge in quite a competitive league as well, which is nice. So.
Well, as we turn our attention back here, Frankfurt in a commanding position at 3 points to 1 and 4 minutes remaining. Frankfurt, both sides had mixed fortunes in the weekend, so this was always going to be an interesting one to see who would come out on top. And Frankfurt really trying to push on. And Scott Bain, he was a crucial player in this Frankfurt side we saw yesterday. See what they can do here, looking to go out wide.
Yeah, Frankfurt have been a threatening side. We had them in our group yesterday. They held us to 4-2 in the first half, and credit to them, they played really well. We ran out in the end, but it was a tough game, as we expected. They're also missing a few players this weekend, so their coach and captain, Ben Edwards, he's not here. He's quite a significant leader in their ranks as well. So they've done well to adapt to that. this tournament. And then Luxembourg, it's great to see them here with their club side as well. It's quite a small touch body in Luxembourg. There's only sort of 30-40 players that play regularly, so the fact that they've got a club side here after their recent performances at the European Championships last year is really impressive, so it's great to see.
It looks like we're just approaching the final stages. We're just waiting for that hooter to come. Yeah, when you look at the sides, it's so impressive, isn't it, to see aside from Luxembourg coming over to play in a European champs, and at the moment holding themselves well against a decent Frankfurt side as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Luxembourg have had an interesting sort of recent history, actually. So they dropped out of their membership with FIT for a while because they had to sort of regroup and get a player base back. But the guys there that sort of run Luxembourg Touch worked really hard to make sure that they got back into it, which was really good to see. So Simon Neal is the one who actually runs Luxembourg Touch over there. So he's been a strong advocate for making sure that Touch remains part of Luxembourg, and they have an agreement with rugby union over there, so they use the rugby club and things like that. So Touch is certainly growing there, largely down to the individuals that are here representing their club side. So,
well, just at the moment temporarily without the clock, we will of course just wait for that hooter to sound. No scores in the last couple of minutes actually, is RCL looking to try and get back into this one. Frankfurt raced into a 3-0 lead and defending solidly there.
Yeah, I think for both teams at the moment it's just prioritising execution. Clearly getting lots of yards, which is great, getting the ball up the other end, but it's that final pass or decision that really lets both teams down at the moment. So,
and here can Frankfurt some fresh legs on, and as we're getting into the closing stage of the weekend, you could just see those tired legs, can't you, coming into play as the hooter goes, and that brings a close, it looks like, to this first half. It does, and Frankfurt lead at the break by 3 points to 1 in this Bowl Cup match, and we'll wait and see if RCL Luxembourg can get back into this one in the second half. Myself and Ben will be back for the second half of this one in a couple of moments' time.
Yeah, the right time for a referee to interchange with his sideline buddy is when they're approximately 15, maybe 20 metres from the sideline, and it's at the right time for the play.
I've got you if they come, Ray. All the way back, Link. Link, no, yes, yeah, Ray, I've got you here, mate. Back to me, middle, to 8, yes. Shoot is good. Third with me here.
Teamwork comprises of many factors for the referees. A lot of it is communication with the players.
Take it back 2 meters, blue, please. 2 meters back. Thank you. Hold here. Yeah, roll, that's fine. Look for me. First is with me. Here it is. 27, 2 meters. Yes, good there. Look for me for second.
The sideline ref's always communicating with the players.
All the way back to the ref now. 9, 9, one step, 9 offside. Look for the ref next touch.
And at the appropriate time, we'll communicate with the on-field referee when a critical decision needs to be assisted.
Have a look at the ref at the next touch again. You're just in front of the line. 12, no. Good, 12. All good here, Jonathan.
The development of referees is quite rigorous. There are 5 levels in the fit level system. The entry level is level 1, level 5 is the highest. So to progress from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, there's a theory exam plus a practical assessment. And when you go from 3 to 4, 4 to 5, that has to be done at an elite tournament, like a Nationals tournament or a Euros.
So only a couple of moments away then from the start of this second half here in Maidenhead, the European Touch Club Championships 2019. As you can see by the scoreline in the top left hand of your picture, Frankfurt leading by 3 points to 1 over RCL Touch. And I'm glad to say I'm joined by Ben Powell from Cambridge Hornets, and we were just having a brief discussion actually off air about the games you've got coming up and how you're going to approach those ones. You've got Six Pack Roosters coming up very soon, haven't you? They're another very solid outfit.
Yeah, for us, we sort of highlighted Six Pack and BBR to be the real title contenders. I mean, Hot Custard played fantastically well. CSSC have fallen away a little bit today. And then Donnybrook have played excellent all weekend as well. We played them in our group game yesterday, and they ran really hard and played some nice touch. So it's all to play for, really. For us against Six Pack, you know, we'll just sort of, it's cliche, control the controllables. We have a really clear plan that we're going to go into that game with. You know, so for us, it's, you know, element of respect, but making sure that we go through the motions from our game plan's perspective, and you know, let the play do the talking, I suppose.
I'm just interested to get your point of view as a coach, obviously compared to the NTS series, at these 20-minute halves and now these 12-minute halves. In terms of what you say to the players, do you tell them just really get at it from the get-go? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, so it's a different mentality, and weirdly, it suits half of our team and doesn't suit the other half. So like Sam and Matthew and myself suits our game to a T. For the others, they need that longer periods of time where they can condition teams, get used to the surroundings, and then go from there. So, I mean, we focus a lot on conditioning and sequencing with particular plays and moves, get the defense doing something in order to then do something else. Whereas out here in these quick turnarounds, you only get sort of 8 to 12 sets of 6, maximum really. So you need to take advantage of each situation. So the conditioning and the sequence, rather than happen from set of 6 to set of 6, it needs to happen from touch to touch. So as long as you're kind of encouraging that mentality, you know, you're okay. You know, so it's that psyche of, you might not get another set of 6 in this situation. So actually you need to take advantage of that area straight away. And like you said, it's, you know, hammer and tong straight away. So a lot of direct driving from our line, those kinds of things, less reliance on the sub box, because it's much easier to control the other team with the ball in your hand.
Well, 2 minutes into the second half, and you feel like, as we were just talking about that timings, RCL Touch do need this next score, and no, 6 touch on him, and
yeah, the referee thought about the awarding a touchdown there, but he's decided the touch was in first. So Luxembourg, RCL really threatening to get back in this game, and if they got to 3-2, then, you know, anything's possible with the comeback.
We are seeing, of course, a lot closer games than we did yesterday in the summer, because obviously those pool games have matched up the games a lot better, haven't they? And we're getting some really entertaining and tight-run games, aren't we, today?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, a priority of this tournament, when sort of myself and Kevin, the EFT, well, former EFT events director now, a few of us stood down from the EFT executive board last night with the new elections. When we talked about sort of the way to shape this tournament, it was very much using Saturday as group games, as seeding games, and then allowing each team to find their level and standard. So naturally you then see each team come up against teams that are much similar ability for the remaining games on the Sunday as well. Sometimes it can be a bit hit and miss with the top tier, in that you do get a separation, but actually the top 6 even has been really close as well, which is fantastic. So
yeah, we've had some absolutely brilliant games so far, and we have got one final cup pool game coming up here, 1:30. Hot Custard taking on CSSC London Eagles, another all-English affair, and I know you know those two sides really well, of course, from the NTS series.
Yeah, but both have performed really well. I mean, CSSC, so London Eagles, have finished 3rd overall in the NTS this year, which is their best ever finish. Custard had a mixed season, starting off quite slow, but they actually won the last NTS. So it wasn't enough to get them into a sort of contending place to win the title overall. BBR took that, but they played excellent touch in that last NTS to win.
Yeah, that was up at Oxford. They played Nottingham Hoods in the final, Hot Custard, didn't they? It was they've actually sort of formed a little bit of a rival with BBR in the last couple of NTS series, and we had another case of it this weekend. Hot Custard taking on BBR, and it's that NTS series really hotted up as the weekends got going, didn't it? It was really great to watch.
Absolutely. I mean, and that rivalry between BBR and Hot Custard actually stretches back right through to 2015. I think it was 2015 was the last time someone other than BBR won the NTS title, which was Hot Custard. The following year, BBR went on to win it, and they won GIF as well the same year, which is a bit of a it doesn't happen very often where a side will win GIF, which is one of the most coveted tournaments in Europe, mainly for the after party and the food, and they won the NTS series as well.
It's certainly been it's been a brilliant year of touch rugby, and it seems that just there's so much going on, and there's a lot of clubs can get involved in. You've got obviously the European Club Champs here this weekend, the juniors coming up in Paris, the emerging, of course, series as well, and then the men's and women's as well. There's just so much going on, isn't it? It's an exciting time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, the highlight this year was always going to be this tournament, and then the JTC as well. The fact that JTC is going to be on the live stream is fantastic, and that's going to go a long way to sort of really making a lot of those juniors weekend and probably the highlight of their touch careers so far. So it'd be great to see the excellent young talent that's on offer right throughout Europe. For me, I'm most looking forward to watching Czech Republic play. Their junior program has come along massively in recent years. And then, of course, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't looking forward to watching England perform as well, as former mixed 15s coach for England and boys 18s coach last year for England as well, and the current Women's Open England coach. I want to make sure that those England teams do really well out there as well. And it'd be nice to see the home teams in France in their mixed 18s and their mixed 15s do well. So.
And as a coach, do you feel that coaching touch rugby, has that developed over the years as well?
Yeah, massively. I mean, we in Europe traditionally we've had a heavy reliance on the Southern Hemisphere, so it's building relationships with people, for me, back home in Australia, and also those who go over to Australia to upskill themselves as well. But we do have an outstanding group of coaches in Europe now, and in many ways really challenging the likes of those back in the more fancied Australia and New Zealand as well. I think for us, we've got a good top tier of coaches. One of the problems with coaching is that there aren't enough of them. Lots of people still want to have those boots on back out on the field as well. So it's convincing those people that would make good coaches to sort of move out of the playing career and into the coaching capacity, which is always a challenge because there is so much touch on offer. I think you can now play, well, as of next Euros, you'll now be able to play men's 50s. You name it, it's there if you want it. So getting people to move away from the playing and get into coaching. But no, we've seen exponential growth in the last few years, which is fantastic.
Well, as you'd have seen on the scoreboard, Frankfurt have advanced into a 5-1 lead and potentially have killed off any potential comeback from RCL touch.
Yeah, so the key here for Frankfurt, I said just towards the end of the first half, was execution. Both teams are getting good yards, but what Frankfurt have done on the two opportunities they've had, really two real opportunities, is actually make them count to get those 2 touchdowns. So they look in control of this game now, but with just under 4 minutes to go, a couple of touchdowns to RCL, and then your things are a little bit closer. So there's Simon Neal there with the ball about to roll it. Stalwart of Luxembourg touch.
Here he is. What can he do? Can he try and instigate something in the middle, just slowing things right down? Can they try and break through this stubborn Frankfurt defence and a dive for the line? No, touch called by the referee just before, so no score on that occasion. Can they try and work something again? They're still in possession.
Yeah, so what Luxembourg are trying to here is isolate one middle, and Mr. Bain there with the hat on, and then run a trail ball, so faking for a quickie but trailing to isolate that offside middle. There's Simon with the dive, and the touch is in there just before the ball was down.
So Frankfurt defend well, and now can they get up the other end and force home another score?
Yeah, ball down there, good call from the referee. So those yards aren't there, and Luxembourg get their 3rd set of 6 in quick succession now.
So really good opportunity for RCL to try and force home something. Can they do that? Into the middle they go. They try and work something out on the wings. What are they going to try and instigate here? This Frankfurt defence is covering really well. 2.5 minutes remaining.
RCL getting some fresh subs on, which is good. So let's see what they got for these last couple of touches.
Dancing his way through. Oh, good take. Can they sneak their way through? Good stubborn defence from Frankfurt.
So trying to set themselves up with a nice attacking platform, but unfortunately are running back onto a man on defence. So in order to create that overlap, you know, they're going to have to look to shift the ball one way, then move it to make sure they're not running directly into man on. But good defence by Frankfurt at the moment.
Pass goes out wide. Lovely take.
And a great finish there by RCL. Really good stuff. So we talked about running one side, going back the other, just to give them the overlap. Here we go. So a short platform and a nice long ball there from the runner, and a really good finish.
Yeah, it was a difficult one, wasn't it? Just almost coming back onto it and trying to turn on. It can be really difficult to claim. And with a minute and a half to go, so RCL get their second of the game. It looks like Frankfurt are going to go on and claim this. It would be quite an amazing comeback if RCL can come and get back to 5 apiece.
Yeah, unlikely at this stage, but you never know.
There they go. Can they try and finish off in style going into the final minute? Oh, what a steal.
Got the intercept, so it'll be a roll ball on the 5, and here RCL go. Not giving up here despite the scoreline.
They're not, and it's great to see. They're giving it absolutely everything. And actually, we were talking at the start of the day how every point will make a difference. Only that points difference, it can separate where people finish in the groups. It's so crucial.
Particularly with every team in the tournament playing in a seeding game right at the end, depending on where you finished. You know, that could move you up a place, therefore you'll determine your lowest finishing point. So for and against is absolutely crucial, and it counts from yesterday as well. So
20 seconds remaining, and I think that's the last real opportunity there for RCL Touch to get another score on the board. So Frankfurt, knowing that the victory is in their sights as they get some fresh legs on over the halfway line they come. Plenty of space to work into. That was Harrison just making up some good yards. The ball's just sort of leapt him in the air.
Loopy ball there from Jorg. Jorg's actually the Touch Deutschland president. He's done wonders in Germany over the past few years as president, and a lovely bloke as well. So
I'm waiting for that hooter to sound, although it looks like the final whistle has gone, and it has, and that will bring an end then to this bowl match. RCL against Frankfurt. Frankfurt coming out on top by 5 points to 2. Ben, thank you very much for joining me.
My pleasure, thank you.
In the commentary box, and all the best of luck for your remaining games for the day.
Cheers, thanks very much.
And we'll now move on to our next one, which will be in the plate competition as we see Hurricanes taking on Thames Valley Vikings. That'll be coming up next here on the England Touch Rugby YouTube channel and BBC Sport Online. This is the European Touch Club Championships 2019. So here we go, Hurricanes taking on Thames Valley Vikings in the Plate Cup. And we are reaching the business end of the competition as places will be decided who will be making these finals in only a couple of hours' time. So it is France against England, Hurricanes of France against Thames Valley Vikings of England. We've seen Hurricanes in action a couple of times today. And both playing in blue, so an easy way to confuse ourselves. We'll do our best to try and guide you through the action. Here's Pisani for Hurricanes on the halfway line, looking to go left and right and just jinking his way forward over the 10-metre mark. They go. Nice work as Pisani looks to get past his man. That diving touch, a critical diving touch in the end from Tom Lawton-Davis, the England boys under 18s. He plays in the middle with the England boys under 18s. And he's one of those few who'll be heading off to Paris at the end of the month for the Junior Touch Championships. That's Tom Lawton-Davis. As Thames Valley Vikings look to try and edge their way through. It looks like they have they? The referee's just having a quick conversation with Pisani now. And the referee does give it, and Thames Valley Vikings are underway. They have their first score. Just having another look at this again. He almost just bulldozes his way through. Yeah, Pisani just gets in the way, and no touch was made. And the referee just having a quick chat with Cyril Pisani. And Christine Sheem now gets it with closed down quickly. Here's it, Hugo Berrier. He was with us in the commentary box earlier today, just giving us his thoughts on the development of touch rugby in France and the team itself. He's a key player in this side, the number 9, Hugo Berrier. Now Thames Valley Vikings going in again, and they have doubled their lead inside the opening 3 minutes. Have another look at this in the replay, that long ball, and it was easy from the link just to pick out the winger, and easy does it for Thames Valley Vikings, and they are off to the best start possible. Pisani now looking to try and do something about it. He is joined along by Pierre Raimondi, the former under-18s France mixed captain. Here's Pierre Raimondi. Cyril Pisani just ordering his middle partner Pierre Raimondi to get into a better position. Here is Raimondi just laying it off, spreading the ball out wide, and the ball goes over the top, and the chance is gone. Comes Thames Valley Viking. Over halfway they come, Thames Valley Vikings. Over 10 metres. Nice work, and this is good intricate play from the Vikings. What can they do? Can they try and add a third as they try to weave their way through? There was Josh Henderson there. Wasn't wearing the cap yesterday. Henderson looking to go for the line. Losing your hook. Does she get in the nick of time? No. Touch, vital touch, just on the line actually. Lucy Neal Hook there linking up with Henderson now. Oh, Jinx with lovely body movements back, and that's the 6th and final touch though, so Hurricanes defend this one well. And the Hurricanes looking to try and respond straight away. Let's have another look at that on the replay. Bundled over was Christine Sheem, and Hugo Beret just getting the ball out wide, and the space was opening up. It's been brought back though. Good movement forward, jinking right and left, going to work something here. Christian Scott looking to drive his team forward. Oh, lovely movement inside and out. That was Tom Lawton-Davis. Turnover possession though inside their own half. Here's Christian Sheem eating up the yards inside his own half. Hugo Berrier just lays the ball off, and they're making up some good yardage in the middle. Some space opening up now for Christian Sheem. Maybe an opportunity here for Pisani. Lucas Fulgeron is there as well. Fulgeron whips it to Pisani, and he himself then gets it off to Raimondi. And it's possession, the final touch. So 5 minutes to go, and the Vikings putting on a solid performance so far against the French outfit. Here's Simpson now. Getting his legs going. Over halfway they come. Davis that was, and Christian Scott was there. He's a towering presence, isn't he, Christian Scott? Jay Johnson there in the middle, along with Lucy Richardson. Matthew Halligan as well. Goes over Halligan's head and now finds Jay Johnson. The men's 30s assistant coach is Jay Johnson. Here's Lucy Richardson. Jay Johnson looking to go out wide. Is there some space opening up? Oh, good footwork and handling work, and just bundled over. Just some frustration creeping into this Hurricane side. Just got to keep their composure here. There's Lucy Richardson. Tenbrook. Oh, a lovely little sold the dummy, but the touch did come in. The referee's instigating that. But still opportunity on for the Thames Valley Vikings. Can they use it? Here's Jay Johnson with Richardson in the middle. Tenbrook is there waiting for the ball. Johnson lays it off to Tenbrook, looking to go for the line. Oh, and finds it. And the Vikings now into a 3-0 lead with 3 minutes remaining in this first half. The Hurricanes really need to find something now. They need their key players, Cyril Pisani and Piero Mondi, to step up to the mark. Hugo Berrier now into the middle with Anne-Blanche Boussier, the French women's open player. Boussier now getting it back from Hugo Berrier. Berrier looking to try and spread the ball out to the left. Hugo Beret. Works it well. The Hurricanes get it. Oh no, touch does come in, and high fives all around for this stubborn Thames Valley Vikings defence, who have put in a solid shift in this first 12 minutes. Lawton Davis, Lucy Neal Hook laying it off. Oh, this is good from Vikings. Henderson was there involved, and Henderson now gets it back, lays it off to Lucy Neal Hook. Good yards made through the middle, and they've already got themselves way up into the Hurricanes half. Can they try and utilise this? Fifth touch now. Oh, and almost just panicked at the line, and the ball just fizzes past Lucy Neal Hook. Hugo Bedier. Into the middle for Cyril Pisani. Pierre Raimondi with Pisani now. Raimondi's just to the right. Pisani. 30 seconds remaining. Thames Valley Vikings finish on a bomb. Lucy Neal Hook coming forward now. Tingy Brennan. Good work here. Matthew Halligan in there, and there goes the hooter. Can they get one final one? What a pass on! It was nearly a superb take from Brennan, but she couldn't hang on, and that would have been the perfect end to a perfect first half for Thames Valley Vikings. Let's have another look at this again. The pass came in from Christian Scott, and Brennan was watching it all the way, and just in the final moments just took her eye off the ball. That brings an end to the first half, of the Thames Valley Vikings leading over the Hurricanes by 3 points to 0. We'll be back for the second half in a couple of moments' time.
Touch is a minimum contact sport where the aim is to score more touchdowns than your opposition. Touch team is made up of 6 players on the pitch with up to 8 substitutions. Those 8 substitutions can roll on the pitch at any time. Touch can be made of mixed teams or single gender teams. In a mixed team, there is a minimum of 1 man and a maximum of 3 men on the pitch at any one time. At an international level, touch games are made up of 2 20-minute halves.
Half time, girls.
But at all levels, you can have varying different half lengths and periods of time.
We may have noticed just a change in colour for the Hurricane side. Hurricanes just reversing their shirts inside as we noticed that both sides are playing in a dark blue. I wonder if that will make any of the crucial difference into this Hurricane side. They definitely need something. Here's Christian Sheen. Hugo Beret gets it back. Oh, this is just the start they needed. And maybe that changing of the shirts has just given that extra little boost. You never know. And here, Hurricanes get off to the perfect start in this second half. And they reduce that deficit to 2. And here come Thames Valley Vikings. Can they respond straight away? There's Simpson in the middle, along with Lawton Davis as well. Here's Simpson, Henderson now, Lawton Davis as well. The boys under 18's middle. Can he instigate something? Can Thames Valley Vikings restore that 3-point advantage? So as we're going to this second half, Chris is now joined with the president of Deutschland Touch, Jörg Schlossmacher, down by the side pitch.
Jörg Schlossmacher from Frankfurt and the president of Touch Deutschland. We'll talk about the second bit in a second, but the first one, just have a quick look back on your win over RCL. Must be very happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're absolutely happy with that. We won that game because it's good to end up with a win, and we're looking forward to the next game, and we're supposed to win that one as well.
How has the weekend been for you?
Fantastic. Everything hurts, but it was a good weekend. It was well organized, so thank you to Touch England and Maidenhead Rugby Club. It was really nice. It's a tough game, especially for us from mainland Europe's smaller NTAs. It's really hard to play England teams. It's nice, and we get a good experience here.
In terms of the smaller national touch associations, you mentioned it. Obviously, you head up one in Germany. What do you aim? How do you use a tournament like this to develop the teams? Obviously, you've got 2 clubs here this weekend.
It's experience. I mean, for new players, when you go into an international tournament, you quickly notice that if you don't follow the policies, you'll directly get a score, and so that's how you learn. You learn when you play against the best, and that's a good example here.
Are you learning as much from watching other teams as you are from playing?
Absolutely, it's fantastic to watch them. And it's nice to understand, to see a good runaway try like this one, and a fantastic dive there. Sorry, I'm not supposed to comment.
No, that's okay. We can. It's a great bit of play in front of us. A massive amount of speed.
That was nice.
Yeah. Sorry. Just go on in terms of what you're learning from watching other teams.
It's just nice. I mean, you can see defensive policies. You can see how they pull, how they behave on the pitch, and it's just if you love that sport, it's just fantastic to be able to watch that sport on a good level, live, and not. Sometimes it's nice to watch it on TV, yes, and we have the opportunity thanks to BBC as well.
But also having the kind of coverage we've got this weekend on YouTube and on the BBC, in terms of to be able to tell people at home, to give them an example of what you do at weekends, for example.
Oh yeah. I just learned yesterday that my Love's family, they are French, and they obviously have commented all the game of me, and that was a shitty one. But so I'm supposed to learn a lot from people who have never played touch and afterwards. But that's nice.
Sorry, we can't just bleep that little word out of that, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Just finally, we had Germany at the European Championships in Nottingham last year. We've got the same competition coming up in 12 months' time in the same venue. How much are you looking to develop ahead of that, and what's a realistic ambition for you guys to achieve?
The realistic ambition is to send as many competitive teams as possible, because we want to grow the sport in Germany. So right now we came up with a development plan, and we try to also send a senior mixed team. We have to work on that. We have to organize it. Right now we focus on women's and men's open, but we want to turn it for next year's and the years afterwards. Also next year we are trying to participate in the JTC, which is also nice, just to bring up youth. It's a lot of work, but it's fun.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time. Good luck for your final games this weekend. We'll go back up to Brad for the last few minutes of this game between Hurricanes, who are now in white, against hometown Thames Valley Vikings.
So we're back into the second half here in Maidenhead, the European Touch Club Championships. Hurricanes versus Thames Valley Vikings. And that was the force of Jörg Schlossmacher, the president of Touch Deutschland. He's done wonders for the German touch rugby scene, and he's really trying to push the sport along in his home country, and it's great to see the likes of Touch Frankfurt here involved today. And our attention back here on the field of Hurricanes Thames Valley Vikings. Not much has changed to the start of the second half. 4.5 minutes remaining, and if the Hurricanes can get the next score, it might just put one cat amongst the pigeons in this Thames Valley Vikings side. Can they do so? Creeping towards the 5 metre mark. Bazzani now jinking his way through. So he's stopped on the line. Lucy Neal Hook and Jay Johnson are there. Just dies on the winger there. There's a good chance to try and get through. Under 4 minutes remaining. Bazzani. He gets it back from Raimondi. Bazzani going through. Space opening up. And we have a game on our hands here, going into the final 3.5 minutes. Only 1 point separating the two sides. So on the halfway line, let's see how Thames Valley Vikings can respond with the tap off. Louise Carr was there, but now the turnover, and what a chance this is now for the Hurricanes to try and work their way up the field. And a breeze comes across this pitch one here in Maidenhead of the European Touch Club Championships. Thames Valley Vikings raced into that 3-0 lead. Are they going to do the ultimate comeback here? Not on this occasion. Final touch. So how the Vikings play this? There's Lawton Davis, the youngster. Can he get experience around him just to help him through? Oh, and that's the inexperience there of Josh Henderson. And boys under 18s link will be heading off to Paris in the Junior Touch Championships. Loss of control as he grounded the ball, and what an opportunity this is for the Hurricanes. Bang on, 2 minutes to go. Can they find something? Can they get over that goal line to get back to 3 apiece? Good pressure from Lawton Davis. On Bazzani. Raimondi now. Pierre Raimondi, the former under 18s France mixed captain. He lays it off. Oh, what a touch that was from Henderson. Means business. he's just not seeing something he likes. And now, what opportunity, Hurricanes now. Can they use these 6 touches to again? Here's Bezzani now. There's some space opening up. He jinks back in. Chance maybe through the middle. And stops it just in the nick of time. Seconds are creeping past. Can the Vikings hold on? Bezzani now. There's a space opening up, looking to find support. Oh, and just loses it. Bezzani frustrated, but a wry smile on his face as well, and the Vikings survived that attack. A strong wind blowing across the Maidenhead Rugby Football Club here is Thames Valley Vikings. Are they looking to try and finish off in style? Here's Jay Johnson trying to burst forward, using all his presence to get through. Oh, and it stops, and now Hurricanes nearly need to get a move on. Can they get onto the other end of the pitch? Using as least touches as possible. Can they get towards halfway? Looking to try and do just that, getting some fresh faces on as they cross halfway. Here comes the cavalry. Hugo Berrien in support. There goes the hooter. Can they finish it off? Looking to go left and right. Oh, and it just dies in front of him, Christian Sheeb. And that will bring a close. And there we go, full time. He just offered a hand as Jay Johnson. And Thames Valley Vikings have run out 3-2 winners in the end in another really close and intense match. And the Hurricanes from France lose out against the Thames Valley Vikings by 3 points to 2. We'll now move on to our 6th and final pool game of the weekend as Cambridge will take on 6-pack Roosters. That'll be coming up next here in the European Touch Club Championships 2019. Don't go anywhere. So here we go, our final round-robin game of the weekend comes from the Cup competition, as you see Cambridge taking on 6-pack Roosters, and a game that could mean and decide a lot. Let's see how both sides will get on, and I'm delighted to say once again joined by Greg Cropper for this one. And again, two sides we know really well. They've had a good weekend, and it should be another fascinating affair, Greg.
Yes, and the first score there in the first 25 seconds as well there by the six-pack team, which is a good start by them. But looking to start as they mean to go on, I believe, here. Just scored at Sam Missing's feet. He won't be happy with that.
Yeah, we had Ben Powell, the coach for the day for Cambridge, up with us in the commentary booth, and he was excited about the prospects. Of course, all these young players for Cambridge coming through. It's exciting times for the Cambridge side.
It is. It's quite a family affair as well. There's two sets of brothers, a husband and wife playing in this team as well. So
of course, yeah, Glenn and Katz have. So yeah, lots of links, isn't there, in this side?
Indeed, yeah.
And Matty Sandler, one of the new guys to this side of the year, said Ben Powell, and Nicky Ferns looking to try and get in and respond straight away.
Touch just made there on the line.
Nicky Ferns and now Matty Sandler. Turnover possession, and now can six-pack Roosters advance at the field. Hannah Smith now with Campbell. Here's Charlie Brett. Campbell again looking for the cavalry to come on, and McLeod now in support by Kleppen. Kleppen is right there, just inching their way forward is Smith. Smith laying it back off to McLeod, and the towering presence of Smith gets it back. McLeod though looking to try and advance forward, looking for a pass. It's loose, and six-pack Roosters have started this game with real intent, haven't they, Greg?
They have, yeah, which is good to see. This is what they've got. This is all about. It's going to be coming down to a points difference with these two teams as well, to see who can make it. Depending what happens on the other fields, this game could happen again in a couple of games' time with the third, fourth playoff, or they could go into the cup. So it's definitely all to play for these two teams as well.
So here's Sam Missing slaying it off to the experienced Glenn Jones. And there's Samuel Missing. Are we going to see those roadrunner legs going again? Cat Jones now. With Glenn Jones advancing forward. Back with Sam Missing. Sam Missing sweeps it over to Matty Maynard, and he looks to try and dance and weave his way through, but Campbell's there to, Shona Campbell's there to stop him in his tracks. He's had a lively tournament as Matty Maynard. Myself and Greg are on the commentary for the game against Donnybrook, which proved to be a very lively affair.
Very much so. It was one of those that there was the Missing and Maynard show in the middle, weren't they? I think he got a hat-trick in one of the earlier games as well. So they're definitely on form with building those partnerships over the weekend.
There's Charlie Brett. What can he do?
Instrumental in this six-pack team over the weekend has Brett.
He's normally partnered with his mate Louis Burns. Of course, not this weekend. Here's Taylor, and actually Taylor and Charlie Brett have struck to a really good combination between them two, haven't they?
Yeah, I think this is the local club, isn't it? And then when they play some of the national series in England, they play for BBR. So they've a few players playing for their own home clubs this weekend, which has, I guess, strengthened some and weakened others. So it's still definitely wide open. But yeah, those partnerships are key, and the one that Brett and Ross have made this weekend has been showing in the results that this team has got.
Here's Ollie Maynard looking to try and weave his way through Nicky Ferns. Can he arc his run round? Oh, and just tried to find the on-running Harry Missing, but just couldn't get there in time. So still only one score separating the two sides. Here's Charlie Brett picking up some yards. Harry Missing just looks such a young guy in this on the pitch. He's so plenty of experience to learn. He will be going to the Junior Touch Champs along with his brother Sam later on in the month. And here comes Marshall McLeod and Callum Smith now just having to peg back pressure from Nicky Ferns on him. Here's Kleppen now. McLeod and Kleppen just passing amongst themselves. Callum Smith is going to be there to support Kleppen as he passes it back inside to McLeod.
But young Missing a vital knockdown. They say he's only small in stature, but his experience in this Cambridge team, you don't want to underestimate him. I've played against him myself a few times. He's a very good player. Again, there he is, holding space, allowing Maynard to recover and stopping the pass at the same time. So that's 2 shutdowns and could prove vital there for the Cambridge team.
Here's Clepane now. Oh, just fired it into the torso of Callum Smith. I don't know if he was even expecting that, really.
No, I think he didn't think they could get the pass around the defender there. He snuck it under his arm. I don't think he was ready for it. So this is the Cambridge team now driving just past halfway. Slater to Maynard to Missing.
So Matty Sandlett now. Here is that man, Sam Missing. Oh, and there is that body movements we see so often from Sam Missing. Or they just looked up in the air to Cat Jones, and the opportunity goes begging.
Yeah, I think the platform was ready for him there. He should have probably taken another touch and set a better platform. Bit of a speculative pass. But there's a speculative one that's gone to ground from the 6-pack team. So there's a reprieve here for the Cambridge Hornets team. See if they can set something up with some set play with Missing. Jones drives in. Matt Maynard. Ball is down. The referee's given that one. So they've equalled the scoreline.
They certainly have. Matty Maynard, well, starting to lose count of how many scores he's got over the weekend. He's had a brilliant tournament so far, personally. And in he comes, the pass in from Sam Missing.
His dancing feet. Just missed the number 30 there. You can see his bit of honesty, just saying, no, I didn't make it. I'm frustrated with myself and I'm hitting the floor about it. But yeah, taking nothing away from Maynard there. That was not an easy one to score. Ross has gone long. They're happy with the pass. 6-pack comes straight back with that, taking their lead to 2-1.
Yeah, Leia Gladding there after the long pass from Ross Taylor, and all that good intense work from Cambridge has been undone inside 30 seconds, Greg.
It has indeed. It's end to end. It's that you've got to make those ones stick. If you score and then you just let the other team score straight away, all of that hard work has just gone to waste. So you definitely need to be switched on for that next 30 seconds. You got to remember that a lot of these teams, once they score, the people that are coming to defend it have just been in the box for quite a while, and sometimes they're not switched on as much. They've come on as a sub, and they're just not that. It takes a little bit of a quick switch on, which has probably happened there. So Missing again, down for Maynard, steps out, steps in. I looks like he's just caught his ankle or his knee there, I think. So he's just taking a second to compose himself.
We've seen a couple of players actually just suffering a few injuries. I don't know if that's just the intensity of the weekend. Here's
Powell's on
Powell,
the field.
he is. He's
laced up his boots like he said he was going to when he was coming to earlier, Brad.
He did, yeah. He said he wanted to get back on the field. I know he gave me a little wry smile when I said was he itching to get back onto the field, and he said he might just use it as a tactic, and it's working on this occasion. Cambridge now.
No, it wasn't. It was a late pass there. He went through, he got caught on the way through there. I don't think he thought they were onside, but he's not arguing with it, so he must have been happy with the decision. But yeah, they're down by 1, so coach has put his boots on to see if he can make the difference. Good organiser in the middle, good tactician is Powell. So yeah, let's see what he can do now. I
see Sandlett trying to burst through. There was a Slater and Vicky Franks as well. Here is Slater, and that's that man Ben Powell. Almost feels like one of those, if they can't do it, I'll just go and do it myself.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Here's Ben Powell laying it off to Matty Sandlett.
Resetting again. Again, this is just getting your pieces in position, isn't it? Which they do quite well, do Cambridge. Bit of patience. They've played on from that. I thought he was looking for a penalty for being in the ruck, but they played on.
Slater and
Powell to sweep.
Oh, he was there waiting, wasn't he, Ben Powell?
Yeah, he's heading off. He's got letting somebody else on.
I've tried my best.
Yeah.
Gave a bit of a smile into telling them to come on.
Right, your turn. You're much younger than I am, remember? So yeah, Jones is on. Slater in the middle. The mixed 30s duo up there from the World Cup this year. They've gone long.
Oh, Maynard looked like he'd actually just trapped his ankle in the turf there. He did well just to come out of that. Here's Jones and Maynard linking up. Maynard going in for the line as Smith claiming the touch.
Well covered there by Smith. Sweeper coming now. Just didn't get that platform again. Just danced a little bit. It's all about that time on and off the ball off the floor, isn't it, Brad? It's a little bit too long in that respect then. Penalty here for throwing the ball away. That's not... I think the referee didn't see really what happened then. But we're back on with 30 seconds to go. Just driving over the halfway line. This is probably their last attack in this half. Cambridge need to keep this one out to go in to the half-time. Just one down and it's still all to play for.
This would be huge if they can just get over the line on this occasion. Callum Smith going in. Yeah, touch by the referee, and there goes that hooter. And that brings a close to the first half and another really tight contest between two sides who've given absolutely everything this weekend, and it is Six-Pack Roosters who have the slender lead over Cambridge by 2 points to 1. Myself and Greg will be back for the second half in a couple of moments' time here in Maidenhead.
To describe a changeover, it's as a result of a mistake. So mistakes can be from dropping the ball.
Stay on! Ball's down. Just the ball down, girls.
When the play has gone over the sideline or beyond the dead ball line.
Touch 27! Good.
And during play, when the acting half runs with the ball and gets touched.
12 all the way, 12 still, good!
And the most common one is on the 6th touch. That's when possession gets changed over also.
So here we go, only a couple of moments away from the start of this second half, our final round-robin game. Cambridge taking on Six-Pack Roosters, and again it's another really tight affair, and you get the impression, Greg, that the next score could be absolutely critical.
It is indeed. I think both the team talks have been discussing how to attack and how to defend this other team. It will be key. Here goes missing. played on. Ball is down. Referee in the middle there is happy with it. That's the perfect start from Cambridge that they wanted.
Well, we've just talked about that next point being so vital, and Cambridge have got it, and it's normally always that man, Sam Missing, who can come up with a bit of magic, and he does, as he just jinks to his right and gets the ball down. So we're back to 2 apiece inside the opening couple of seconds in the second half, and how do the Roosters respond to that one? Let's see how they get along. Here's Charlie Brett and Ross Taylor now in the middle. Chillingworth is just there in your picture, the number 50. Taylor looking to go right, but opts to go left, and Charlie Brett's just stopped in his track on the 5 metre. Brett gets it back. Oh, going for the line himself.
Jones has got him. Jones and Sleds have both got it. 5th touch, so not much to be able to happen here. He's just gone long. A speculative pass, gone to the ground.
He was gladding over on that far side. He was awaiting that long pass, or it looped in the air. It felt like it was an eternity to come down.
It did, but it was definitely the right thing to do in the fact that it was the furthest way away from the Cambridge substitution box, so they've got some work to do to get over there and get some fresh legs on. So a good tactical throw on last, speculative but nothing lost.
There was Maynard trying to push his way through.
An over the head pass there, just went to ground.
They're one of those ones where if they come off, they look fantastic, don't they? But
Yeah,
if they don't, they just look a bit nothing.
What was
really.
that? What did you do there? And people are turning around to go, oh, we had another opportunity. But yeah, exactly. It's the coach's nightmare when it does come off. They want to continue doing it in the next phase as well. Yeah, looking to get some more structure back in the game now. It's the drive over halfway.
It's been a frantic start to the second half. Oh, Callum Smith has just suddenly accelerated away, and Marshall McLeod now with some space to run into. Clepane is there. McLeod, oh, a good touch. Looked like from Sandler, yeah, he just acknowledges he did get the touch, and that was the final one. And good sportsmanship all around there. And it is a game of honesty, isn't it, Greg, in touch? It has to be with the speed it plays at.
Yeah, it doesn't work. The sport doesn't work without honesty. And I think there is a lot of honesty in these teams. You can see that even if it's a vital touch or no touch, if that player didn't call it, they'll say that they didn't get it. There's very few dishonest players in this game. 6 more, but play on. Ball is still live, so the next touch will still be first.
It's a really good opportunity here for Cambridge. Nicky Fern's just trying to dance his way through. Here's Sam Missing, jinking.
That was unfortunate. There's frustration there. It was the first touch on the line. They rushed it. And they won't have been. Now they've got another penalty for throwing the ball away in frustration. Just rushed that, did the Cambridge player.
Here's a Marshall McLeod, and yet he acknowledges he did get the touch.
Good touch by Slater there, just slowing that down. He would have made a lot of yards if not. Still in their own half.
Just a bit slow to react to get these new players on. Chillingworth is on. Here's Charlie Brett, who lays it off to Taylor. Brett and Taylor linked up really well in this competition so far. Here's Taylor looking to try and wiggle his way through.
This is last touch again. So what can they do here, if anything?
Oh,
she's jinked through everywhere.
Well, that was a superb piece of play. Shona Campbell, she's had a stellar weekend for the Six-Pack Roosters, and let's have another look at this. It's definitely worth a replay. Charlie Brett with his only option there. Shona Campbell, she took it. I think it was the take that really set itself, didn't it?
100%. It came out of nothing, did that. Cambridge were like, oh, this is last, we just need to make the next touch, and Brett casually picked it up and then fizzed that ball out to the winger. I don't think anyone was expecting it.
Here's Glenn Jones here with Cat Jones now. Jones is linking up, and there's Matty Maynard as well in the centre. Just being forced back, using all of experience. Cat Jones, a netball pass towards Glenn. He's trying to get the afterburners on.
Too close to the line again. We've got a penalty though. Looks like there was offside in the middle, so they've got another opportunity of Cambridge. Just one down, just over 6.5 minutes to go.
And the coach is on, Ben Powell. Matthew Sandlett makes way. Here's Sam Missing coming into your picture as well, the number 50.
Again, just a good bit of patience there by Kat Jones, the England Women's 27 bronze medalist from this year's World Cup. A lot of experience.
Here's Ben Powell, Sam Missing.
Looks like a late pass. No, it's away. It's just fifth.
Kat Jones just trying to find the on-running Matty Maynard, but couldn't find him. And the chance goes a begging for Cambridge. Charlie Brett now making up some yards. Gladding over on that far side. Here's a Chillingworth now. Gladding just lays it back off to Alan Clepane. Marshall McLeod. Callum Smith also there. McLeod gets it back. Missing is there, just a block off the pass.
It's a tough decision to make. You either get in the way of that pass and give them 6 more again, or you hope the player, your winger outside has read the same thing as you has and can shut it down. You don't have eyes in the back of your head. Unfortunately, he couldn't decide. He had to make a decision. Equally, if he'd have caught it, he'd have ran full length and scored. So sometimes it's a risk you take, isn't it?
Yeah, the high risks, the greater reward, but not on this occasion. But now Cambridge do have possession back, and Ben Powell's almost saying, come on, let's get up the field. Here's Kat Jones trying to instigate something. Matty Maynard putting on the lightning boots. Sam Missing, good yards made up, some space definitely to eat up. Oh, the ball's just run loose.
Unfortunate. Missing there, coming off, looking a tired individual. He's saying, I'm not doing the defence as well as everything else. Let's get some fresh legs on here.
He certainly gives everything to Sam Missing, along with this Cambridge side. But at the moment, Six-Pack Roosters are still going strong, and they've put in a great performance themselves. There's a Chillingworth trying to cause something. Ross Taylor, Charlie Brett running on like a steam train through the middle. Taylor gets it back to Brett. Can they try and finish this game off?
All of that momentum, you just felt like there's something going to come off the back of that, and now they'll struggle to get that back now, I believe. But we'll see if they've got anything else in the locker. I think the winger was on a different page than the middle there when he threw that pass.
Yeah, Grace Burton came into a more central position, and she left that wing free for Charlie Brett, but the pass was well over his head, and here come Cambridge. Matty Maynard. Kat Jones. Franks does well, back to Jones now, still in their own half, Cambridge. He's Sandler almost pointing to where he's going to go. Oh, make up some extra yards as well. Here's that Sam Missing, he just lays it off back to Sandland.
Here's the setup, good platform.
Lovely scoop.
Oh, that's down. They've got the one they needed. That was a very good platform. Came off the 2 girls making all of the yards in the middle. A good platform there by 56 in the middle. A step, easy pass, a low pass as well. I don't think any higher he would have been able to get that down. But a great score and much needed with just less than 3 minutes to go now in this last pool round.
And they do say those low passes are such a crucial part of the game when you're in that just on the goal line, aren't they? You've got to get those right.
Exactly. You see some of those passes that are, just above head high. The length of time it takes is that split seconds just to get the ball and bring it down. Oh, they were very lucky in that one. That was a high pass, and I think Matt Maynard, he's got that touch in, but the referee disagrees.
Well, again, we've seen it a couple of times in this game. As soon as one side score, and they've been working and pushing and trying to find that try, and then literally 20 seconds up the other end, and they go and score. And Six-Pack Roosters are now back in front.
Is that man missing? He's got it as well. Oh! No, the touch has been made by 16.
Well, that is an incredible touch. Callum Smith,
He seemed almost casual. He didn't even seem to claim it, did he? But there's no arguments by any of the players. It's here they go again. That one, Powell, just goes to ground. No one there. The ball tumbles out into the off-field. Credit to her, she ran and got it, and they didn't need to. They could have ran the clock down a little bit there. But they're here to play, so that's what they're doing.
Just taking their time and trying to maybe eat up some vital seconds, and back into the middle to Chillingworth. Taylor's to the right, Brett's to his left, and Charlie Brett's there with the cap on. He lays it off to Taylor, gets over the 10-metre mark. This is good momentum building up from Six-Pack Roosters. Oh, look at that silky, quick speed pass, almost just without any effort. And the Roosters now are well on their way to victory.
They are indeed. Just that turn of pace, out of the back flick.
That flick had so much pace in it, didn't it?
It did. Purpose, accuracy, but still casual. I think it was, we've not long left, I'll just have a go, and it's pulled off. This will be the last attack, I think, for Cambridge. Even if they do score, I think it will be only one for pride more than anything else. Need to get this down. Gone long. And I think that is going to be the final score, is 5-3 to Roosters. And there is the final hooter. A good result for the Six-Pack Roosters there as they all start to shake hands at the end of the game. A good game, Brad.
It certainly was, and that brings an end to the round-robin games, and it was another fascinating matchup between two sides. They've had great weekends, haven't they?
Both of them, yeah, some very good results by both teams there. We'll have to look at the results from the other fields that are just coming in the next couple of minutes to see how that affects the pool tables. Like I said, depending what happened on field 2 and 3 in the same time slot, that could be a repeat match for the bronze. Seeing how Six-Pack Roosters stack up.
So as we bring the round-robin games to a close, it is Six-Pack Roosters who will win by 5 points to 3. And we'll now move on to the first final of the weekend, and it is the plate final that will be coming up next here at the European Touch Club Championships 2019 here in Maidenhead.